Hello, everybody.
Woo, man, that woke me up. That intro, I was like, oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah. Red Gate
Woo.
did a great job with the
The
intro.
metal
Yeah.
gods were talking, man. The metal gods were talking. It's like, I have the power.
Yeah. I usually need that intro to get woke up.
Whoa, man, I'm charged. Jeez. Ooh. Felt that in my spine, man.
But good morning, everybody, and welcome
All
to
right.
the Morning Roast. I'm, of course, Sugar Chris, and with me is
Sugar Chris.
Zane, creeping
What's
along
up?
in, and our guest today is Frankie B.
What's going on? I had a homeboy back in the day named Sugarfoot. I don't
Oh,
know why
really?
we call
Sugarfoot?
I don't know why
Why
we called him
Sugarfoot?
Sugarfoot. I don't know why we called him Sugarfoot.
Was he a
But
dancer? Did he dance a lot?
I don't know, man.
He
It's
was
his
sugared
foot.
up and he was
He had
just
that
happy
one
feet.
sweet foot. He had a sweet foot, one sweet foot.
Maybe he's good at
know, man.
karate. Maybe he can
Yeah,
kick the
maybe
boy high.
he had a
Kick in
good
the face.
I don't know, man. I don't. Well, you know what? He always. I remember when Halloween we were running around. I grew up in Boston. We went around Halloween in Boston, and he was dressed as a ninja. So maybe that was his kick, his whole martial arts thing. I don't know, man. But man, I like that Sugar Chris.
Oh, yeah.
That's smooth, man.
Oh, and I'm quite excited to have you on and joining us, Frankie.
Why?
Anytime
I always ask that question to my wife. I'm like, why do people like me? I don't
every
know.
time I've seen you in a stream, you're always so much fun, and you always have such interesting things that you're talking
Oh,
about, and you do good work. You know?
man, I feel like I'm like this ranting old dude, man. As my dreads are getting whiter, I can see the little flakes of white and stuff. I'm just gonna be this crazy dude just saying wild stuff. And just have people just looking at me. I'm like, yeah, you don't know if there's a truth or not. I'm just making things up, just saying stuff.
Well,
You can do
people,
that when you get old.
He's a genius.
like he's got to know what he's talking about. He's so confident in it.
Ah, well, that's it, man. That took years of honing. Having doors slammed in the face with a big
Oh,
smile on your face. Blam.
so Frankie, I'm sure some folks might not know who you are.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, geez. Well, God, yeah. Well, I've been working in the art industry for over 30 years. Went to art school back in 1988 and then graduated in 91. And then during that time of art school, I was working security. I was a security officer as well. And it was kind of funny because the security company really liked me. I did a good job. And the next level for me would have been armed security and all that stuff. But I had a captain who was he was like a great mentor. And I had various mentors throughout my life, just people who just came into my life who, just invoked some little nuggets of wisdom. And I was just, a young kid. I was, when I was much younger, I had some issues with temper. I had a lot of anger in me. But I was always good at listening. It was weird. It's like, even though I would be mad and somebody would be spitting the truth and stuff, something would penetrate in there through this thick noggin, and it would stick and hold. And I'll be like, okay. And then I would find that years later, as time went on, I would use it because I was like, yeah, that made a lot of sense and whatever, even though at the moment, I was a 20-something-year-old, I knew everything, that kind of
Yeah.
mentality. So anyway, my sergeant, when it came time for me to make the decision to go to security and stuff, to go to the next level, he looked at me and he said, Frank, he said, why'd you go to art school? And I said, well, I like drawing. And he said, okay, you already answered the question then. He said, you went there for a reason. You didn't go there to be a security guard. You need to follow through. And he was just like that. And he was an ex-Vietnam vet and that kind of thing. And he just was like, you need to follow through. And so I said, you're right. And so at that point, I left security and I just said, okay, the next job that drops in my lap, and if it's art, please, universe, or God, whatever. I said, if you drop in my lap, I'm never turning back. And it did. It was a production company in Waltham, Mass. They did 2 films, and I got accredited as storyboard artist for these 2 films. One was called Squeeze, and the other one was called Next Stop Wonderland. I think Brad Bird worked on that, one of his early films. I feel like he was on it. But anyway, and I worked on that, and that was my entry into like the freelance life. And I never looked back. I just was like, it didn't turn into a sense of hustle. And this is pre-computer, so it was about me writing letters to people, me going to agency, knocking on doors, having doors slam in your face, big old grin on my face as they just slam in your face or whatever. Learning the ways of how to navigate in the ocean of freelance. And one big thing I learned was that the art industry is a vast industry. That was a big thing because when I went to art school, I was like, comic books, hey. When I left art school, I was like, yeah, I want to get paid. that was it. My art school was that. My teachers who all worked there, they also worked in the art industry, and they were making money. They were like, yeah, we know you love comic books, but they said we want you to understand that comic books is just think of it. They said think of the art industry as an ocean, and you're on your boat, and if you want to travel through a certain river or whatever or an outlet, then that's how the comic book industry. The comic book industry is just a river. If you want to go into a storyboards, you can. That's another river or whatever. You can travel, but remember that the ocean itself is the art industry. Mm-hmm. And they said you should never limit yourself. And they were like, your title is a commercial illustrator. And I used to use that a lot. I was like, commercial illustrator. I said, yeah, because commercial illustrator means by all whatever I can draw anything. That means that if someone who a realtor, which I've had some of my ex peers left advertising, and they end up getting paid a lot of money to draw houses for realtors. Paint houses. Like some people want, they buy a new home, they want somebody to do an illustration of their house. So, so some people, they make a lot of great money just doing that. You got to be into it, but they can do it. Or working an automotive, like doing concept for cars. Someone's got to draw it. Yeah. The next thing, graphic. I mean, there's so many avenues and stuff. I tell any person out there who, if you really want to be in the comic books, you should just expand and understand that the art industry is much more vast and that you will learn other fascinating, interesting skills that you may use later on if you decide to get into the comic book industry, back into it or whatever. But you should be trying to make a living in the art industry.
That's actually a good point. When I was last down at Steel City Con, there was a Tom Savini. His school is always set up there.
Yep.
And the last time I was there, I always go check it out. They had like an arm, a fake arm and stuff, and it looked real and everything. And the guy who's in charge of admissions was there, and he ended up talking to me for like an hour about this stuff. But he was saying something very similar, like, the people who graduate from there, you think, oh, it's all horror movies. He's like, no, there's so much that goes into sculpting. And he's like, I have people who graduate come back and tell me they're working in a field. He's like, I never even thought of.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can make
it's fun. It's funny you mentioned him because I back in the day when I did a lot of cons, I did a lot of cons too. I actually created my own comic back in when I graduated, 91. So it was called Peace. And it was on newsprint and stuff. So, and I did cons. I mean, I was hardcore. I used to do a ton of cons back in the 90s into the early 2000s. Made San Diego Con a few times, made New York Con, other New York shows that used to be there. And I actually met Tom Savini at one show, just walking around the con, and he was there with his granddaughter. And I was like, I was like, yeah, let me just go over. Because see, my mindset, like that one of my mentors told me, was like, Frank, he said, what's the worst someone can say? No.
Yeah.
So you go over. So I was like, sure, I'm just going to go over and see what happens. And so I strolled on over and said, hey, how you doing? Tom. And he was like, hey, what's up? And we started chatting. And I was like, wow, man. And his granddaughter was there and he's all playing around. I was like, Tom, I said, you're amazing, dude. What was it? What's the movie? The one I love. Dawn of the Dead. He was in Dawn. He did the effects. I was like, Dawn of the Dead was amazing. And then at the time, he'd also did the vampire one, where he had the gun that was on his
from Death Till Dawn.
Yeah, there you go.
Dawn?
Yeah. So we were talking about that stuff, but he was a cool cat. He was just a cool person who I said, and those were just those little nuggets where I said, I want to be just like that. I want to be like someone who's just cool. I'm all about what I'm doing. I don't let stuff stop pumping my head up, and getting all lost into the whole whatever that insanity is. But just create your art, have a big smile on your face, and and make others happy, hopefully, with what you're doing.
Yeah. He goes, I think, to he goes to probably every other Steel City. He's always there all the
Fantastic.
time.
Fantastic.
And he's always real nice to people, and they say sometimes you just see him walking around.
Yeah. Why be a jerk about it, man? These people who admire you, they contributed to his
success.
To his success. Exactly. I mean, why be a jerk about it? To me, I sit back sometimes and I go, what everyone has an agenda. We all have an agenda. Now you have to ask yourself, what is your agenda? I know what my agenda is. What is your agenda? Is your agenda to be a jerk? Is your agenda to be a butthole or whatever? Is your agenda to be somebody who's going to put something out that can maybe have an effect that you had when you were a kid, when you saw some workout? Like I got to meet the person who affected me, who inspired me as a child. That was Herb Trimpe. I got to meet him on various occasions and stuff and talk to him and tell him how it impacted me. The Shogun Warriors, Godzilla, how that changed everything for me as a kid. How it was like, man, I can do this stuff. Marvel's got people, they're paying people to draw giant robots and monsters, and I'm gonna get the chance. And I got to tell him before he passed away, man. And that was a very powerful moment. I still got a picture of him. I gave him a piece of artwork. I literally, that's what I want to feel. I want to have some youngster, maybe as I get older and stuff, who comes up and be like, I was
You're my role model.
Yeah. Or something that inspired them. And then they pull out their portfolio and then they got work. And I'm like, man, just to have that feeling like, wow, all right. This is the next generation.
Wants like your opinion and credentials of how you got where you are and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that's the thing about it, is that I focus more on being true to the craft of art. That's my belief system. The craft of artists. I want to see artists, but also that other side of me is like, yeah, but I'm not a starving artist. my teachers never, they hated that. The school I went to is gone, unfortunately. It was called Butera School of Art. It was on Beacon Street in Boston. And it was a small school. But I'll never forget, my teachers first came, they looked at me and they said, yeah, we don't teach to be a starving artist. We want you to understand that. And I was like, okay. They were like, yeah, you're going to make money. People are going to hire you for your skills, period. And that's it. They said, we are going to help you to get to a level where you can go out and then pitch your skills to clients, and then they'll pay you. And I was like, wow, it changed any kind of thinking that I had, and then I start thinking that, yeah, I'm a contractor. I'm no different than a mechanic. Mm-hmm. I take my car into a mechanic. They work on it. I know little things, but I don't know everything about an engine or how to put one together. But I trust this dude who's doing it. Well, I'm tossing some money to him because they do a good job. So there you go. Or like the plumber, when I was a homeowner, it was like, I called the plumber up and I paid them and they did their job. So I'm no different than a contractor. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad word. It's actually a great word, knowing that what artists can bring to this world. We bring a lot of stuff actually to this world. People pay you to do something and you do it, and hopefully they're going to pay you well, for whatever your skill set is or whatever your professionalism is, because that's also another thing as well. Because I talk to various artists who DM me and I go, well, yeah, if you can draw good, but that may not get you the gig. And they go, why not? And I go, well, you got to work with people. Yeah. Either you got to be professional. Do you understand deadlines? Do you understand deadline? Do you understand that you may have to edit something, just when you feel all great and warm inside and you go, I did a great job, and all of a sudden they call you back and go, ring, yeah, we need you to change those 30, whatever, and then you're like, I can't go out and play now because I gotta work. Those other qualities factor in there. You could be the best artist in the world, but you still may never get work. And I've seen a lot of artists like that. They're incredible. I go, man, they blow me away like nothing. But how am I still getting work and they're not getting work? Well, because I talk to people and I have a level kind of sensibility about myself, and when I sit in the rooms and meetings and stuff, I'm not just a copy machine. I actually am contributing to stuff, and people like that. And, I build up relationships. Yeah. That's why I get work. And if you are one of those people who push against that, then clearly, the proof's in the pudding. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, if you're kind of difficult to work with, then don't be surprised when people don't call you up anymore or something.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a work ethic, then people aren't gonna have you.
That's where those deadlines come into effect, right there.
Oh, that it's like you have to respect that because someone's paying. You know, you got to remember someone's paying you money to do a job. You know, let's be realistic. Would I go to the same mechanic if the mechanic said, "Yeah, it's going to take a month to do something that should be like literally a week"? You know,
they tell you, come back in a week, we'll have it fixed. We're like, actually, they keep
and then there's another excuse and another, and I'm like, I need my ride, man. I need my ride. What are you doing? You know, I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, you know, I'll be all blasé about it and okay. No, I'm going to be like, I'm not doing you any more business.
Yeah,
how's that?
It's fun while
move on.
A good life.
Yeah,
someone else.
Yeah.
Let me check the chat though. I ain't done that.
I know everyone's all chatting up in there. What's going on?
We got Marinus. He says, "Yo," he says, "Frankie." And he says, "Shay."
What up? What up?
We got Soul saying, "Welcome to the weekend roast, where we'll have lots of fun things on the show: robots, kaijus, cowboys, and
the cheerful artist. Come on, look at these guys. Get me all blushing. Cheeks all purple. Oh, and then I bring out my battle axe to scare everybody. You're like, this guy smells all the time, and I got a battle axe in here. You guys like to see it?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, hold on a second.
He's gonna start chopping stuff up.
There you go.
He's gonna be like the Gallagher of comics. He's gonna come in here and start chopping up.
See me smash some.
Back my book today.
I used to love Gallagher as a kid, though. I was like, oh, he's gonna just smash that.
I never liked Gallagher. I was one of those guys. I'm like, I didn't get it, I guess.
Well, I was little when I remember when I first seen Gallagher, and I just found it funny when he would smash the fruit.
Now I heard his stand-up isn't bad, but
oh, nice! Look at that.
Yeah, one of my old neighbors. I know I was moving, and he was just like, "Hey, what's up, brother?" And I was like, "What's up, man?" And he said, "Yeah, I got something for you." And I said, "Okay." He made this. He made this.
Wow, he made it himself.
Yeah, he made it. Yeah, because
look
at
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he freaking made it, man.
Wow.
So I gotta oil it up and stuff. But I was like, that's nice of you.
So nice, yeah. I'm sure
it shows that he cares. He cares.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day somebody's like, here, have this handcrafted
handmade battle axe.
Oh man,
I was thinking about you the other day.
Back in the day, I used to be into swords, man. I think I'm down to like one sword. I have like a small little tantu black blade sword that I've had for years. I'm never letting go of that. And then I have this baby right here. But I used to be hardcore. Like even when I go to cons, I would be talking to cats who'd be like into like sword play and all that crazy. They're like, all right, dude.
Were you a LARPer? Did you get
no?
A LARP?
Come on now, you know better than that. you know better than that.
I got a friend who's a fencer. Has like the little fencing sword.
No shade on the LARPers, man. I don't want to get in trouble with the LARPers. I ain't throwing shade. I'm just saying that just wasn't my kind of gameplay.
Have you ever? I've only experienced like LARPing a couple of times, like just been somewhere and all of a sudden like they just break out.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a park and all of a sudden like the LARPers show up? You're like, what the hell? It's
well, I mean,
but
they're using like foam swords, right? They're not using real swords, man. Yeah.
But then they bust out like bow and arrows. I didn't think I'd see bow and arrows at LARP.
Yeah,
that was kind of neat.
Hey, man,
smack each other.
I think that fandom's one of those things where as long as people aren't hurting people and stuff, have fun with it, man. Going whatever drives your. For me, back in the day, I was a big time arcade kid, man. I would go to arcades and hang it, and arcades was like it was like a social place. Yeah. Instead, you play your games and stuff, but it was a very social kind of thing. You hanging with your buddies and girls were there and stuff like that. So it was that kind of thing that I enjoyed the most. Like it was just like, yeah, I'm hanging with my friends and stuff. We're hanging out and chilling, and so I was part of that kind of crowd and stuff. So.
And that's something I think is kind of sad about today is what place do kids or young people have that's like that now?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, they don't really.
I don't know it.
Place to go hang out.
I'm still online now when it comes to the gaming.
I'm still surprised by. I can't wrap my brain around it. And I own. It's so funny. Like I own a Dreamcast. I still got a Dreamcast sitting there, and got some. But I was never. I don't consider myself a gamer. Mm-hmm. Like I don't. I still. There's part of me where there's a disconnect where I'm like I don't know. There's a rare occasions where I'll say, okay, let me just play because I'm bored. But I don't have that. Like to me, I'm more like I'd rather just go to an arcade. That was my whole thing. Like I'd rather just go there and then be submerged into the experience. It's almost
it's a whole entertainment experience.
Exactly. When you go to a casino,
the lights, the noises, the arcades.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like same thing. Like if you would have to go to a casino, you wouldn't want to play slots
on your phone, like picking up.
I
lost $50 on my cell phone.
Yeah,
at least
you won't get the experience. You won't get the real experience. Like you walk in a casino, you see those sad faces. Like, oh, what did you give up? I know who did you give up?
My retirement.
I know the retirement. Hey, there he goes, William. What's going on, brother?
Will. And he says, that's why we get along, Frankie. We're a couple of crazy old dudes.
You got to have us, man. The crazy old guys.
Let's see. Oh, Hex Allen says, good morning.
Hex Allen, what's going on? Yeah. Seen him at a couple of alternate auctions.
Steel City. That's right.
Nice.
Shadow Hawk. Hello.
What's up? Man, everybody come. Look at this.
Sugar and Frankie and other dude. Sorry, can't read your name. That is Shane.
I know, throwing some shade this early.
That other guy.
This early in the morning. That's a crime.
Devil Flyer saying hello to everybody.
All right, what's happening? Wow.
Let's see.
Man,
what else we got?
Look at this. See, I was like, I didn't think anybody's going to be coming this early.
Customer service.
Right on.
All about that customer service. Yeah, I gotta keep people
talk to people, man. All this wonderful technology and people don't want to talk. But that would. You know I am. No, but no one wants to talk. All this great technology.
Well, that's the thing about technology too. Like we were talking about the video games earlier, how it's changed. And I think it's so weird that now we're in an age where we have technology where we can make a lot of stuff more simpler when it comes to the comics and stuff. Sure. But it's just so weird how many people's not even choosing to use the technology for something beneficial for them. A lot of them use it mostly for depressing, sad things on Facebook and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing about the discipline.
At your hand.
That's the thing of the discipline that I learned. Like the years of me working in the industry, it built the discipline. Like to me, my mother started off with my mom. My mom always said, she said, Frank, do your errands and then you can play. And she raised me up on that. Like I started working when I was 12. I've been a straight out hustler since because my mom looked at me and she was like, you like comic books? And I was like, yeah. She said, okay, you're going to have a lot of fun buying your own comics. And I was like, okay. And then she sent me off to get work. And then my first gig was working for this guy folding the Sunday papers. And I felt proud, man. When I earned my own money, I was like, man, it's my money. So, and that I got the bug. I just was like, I'm a hustle. So wintertime, shoveling. How much, sir, ma'am? Anything to be able to say, I earned this. And so the thing about it is when I see people that are utilizing technology in a way where I'm like, you're sitting there having arguments with people, man, that you don't even know, man. And it's just crazy. It's like, I remember back in the day in high school, and you would see stuff. It's almost similar in a certain degree if you think about it, because I would see cats get into whatever. Somebody would say something, the scenario. Someone would say something, gossip, and then by the end of the day, you see you outside when people are leaving, people are coming up, coming up to have their discussion about who said what, and that's what it feels like. But the only difference is that you don't have that closure. Because the closure for me, where I grew up was you would go and have a discussion with the person and you figure out what's going on. And then, most cases people will walk. If somebody really felt adamant about keeping their whatever going, then you have to deal with it a different other way, But that's how it was. And then it was done. By today's standards, it's not done because it's like you don't see the face behind the screen. Yeah. And there's no closure. So you have these people having long discussions. I'm like, how are you having a long discussion with somebody when you should be working? You know, you should be getting your stuff done. The best way to combat any of that is by putting out your stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of lazy people out there too.
Yeah.
We got so much technology.
Yeah.
And I see so much people like on the internet just like really just depressed about their life in general and like what to do. I'm like, if you have a hobby, there's always a way to kind of take that hobby and use this technology to your advantage. It doesn't be comics, whatever you're creating. I don't care if it's like, I don't know, purses or whatever it is that you're into, next designs or even if it's not that creative side of things. Maybe you're into like, you know, wanting to save animals and stuff. You can start organizations. There's so much different things you can do with this technology. And like me, I came from when I first started getting into this stuff. People like me and you, we couldn't just go online and like start throwing out things. We were making comics and stuff. We'd go to conventions, like 10 pages, wait in like a line for 2 hours to talk to some guy, and he'd be like, "That's kind of cool." Or, have you tried submitting? You do submissions. You know how that is. You mail it out. You wait 3 or 4 months to get the letter saying this is pretty interesting, but we don't have any openings right now. So what do you do? Rinse and repeat. You spent 3 months at a time submitting to these places, and it's like people don't realize how easy this stuff is now. I mean, it's not that it's easy, but it's easier for you to get your stuff out in front of people. And I say people's using this technology for like just the weirdest stuff.
Well, I wonder. Here's the thing. And sometimes I think about it. I said, is this a generational thing? Because my generational thing. I grew up. I'm a child of 1970 and the 70s and 80s. So I remember growing up. My mother would always express, "Don't put your business out on the street." You just don't. You don't put your business out on the street. You kind of whatever you do, you talk to whoever you got to talk to in your inner circles. And then that's how you handle it. But you don't put your business out on the street. And when I see people posting all their business out there, I'm like, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. What is your agenda? What is your payoff? What's the payoff for doing it? Because I'm fascinated by that because I'm always like, well, I can tell you what my payoff is, you know, of what I'm hoping to achieve by something. But I'm curious, like, what is your payoff when you do these things?
Yeah,
you know, do you ever wonder that?
I think it's they use it as an outlet.
Okay.
Instead of just talking to people, like you know, to each other.
But you're talking to thousands of unknown people.
Exactly. I seriously think that's how their brain. I think that's how it works. Instead,
and look, we all went to school, right? And I'll admit, I was a low-key. I was a low-key. I did some low-key stuff, but I wasn't bad. Like I wasn't a kid. I wasn't the kind of kid. Like I still did my homework and stuff. But you know, I did some little stuff with it here and there. So you know that with that in your mind. If you that kind of person, then there's people out there that like that. Like their whole agenda is based on whatever satisfaction they get from whatever. We give them all kind of weird words and call them different names and stuff like that. But there's people out there who like that. They like to just push the button on people and stuff like that. So if you already know that, then why feed that? You know, just be like, okay, well, all right, whatever, I'm out, and get back to your work, and then do your work. And then let your work speak for itself. Like as an artist, it's not about Frankie. It's not about Frankie B. I want my art to stand before me.
Yeah.
I'm like the old school, like the artists who, like, you know, when they back in the day graffiti, a graffiti artist, you wouldn't even know who the graffiti artist was. You just saw this beautiful work, and then they'll put the signature down. And it's like, oh man, who's this?
They got to look them up and see if they
or if you could, we never had that back in the day.
Back in the day, but now everybody judges, you know, which is where their alignment with that person is. Like how close are they to me? It's like at the end of the day, you don't really care. I mean, I just care about the product. I mean, if you end up being like a really, really bad person, like a murderer or something.
Well, yeah. I think the thing about it is that this is why I say it goes back to feeling like school, because I see people painting a lot of broad brushes on stuff, and they're not going to talk to people. They're not going out to talk to people. Like, why don't you just go over and talk to this person? Don't just go by what somebody just told you, what they said this person is. You know, why don't you just go over there and say, hey, what's going on? All right, what's up? Such and such, and then start the conversation from there. You may actually like this person. You may actually have something in common with this person, you know, but instead, you're not going to do this because you're aligned in some weird kind of thing, because like a group mentality. And I'm like, nah, I've never been like that kind of thing. I've always said I'm a little bit of the Marty McFly, Ferris Bueller. I'm always been like that kind of person. Like I'm just, hey, there's Frank over there, that kind of thing. I would navigate through different things. I knew bangers, but I also knew people who were just the coolest people, whatever. They didn't do crazy stuff and whatever, but I did know bangers, and they knew I wasn't part of that kind of thing, but I could still be like, yo, what's up, man? Hey, well, hopefully you'll live long enough. That would be my only, I'll just be real. I'd be like, well, all right.
If you don't get shot this week, I got this cool comic coming.
Yeah,
you might like it.
Well, my whole thing is that everyone on this planet has a choice, right?
Yeah.
You live your life the way you want to live your life. If you want to live a life that, your time may be measured drastically, it can either be prison or the 6 feet under, then that's your choice. You gotta, hopefully you don't drag other people innocent lives down with you. Yeah. But that's how I would be. I'd be like, well, all right, but I'm not part of that, and I'm out. And that was it. And that's how people kind of knew me. They were just like, oh, okay, Frank, all right, no problem. Keep on drawing, brother. Right on. And I would just move on with a big smile on my face. Hey, well, hope I see you next year.
You gotta be goal oriented. Like
people. Frankie is a beast. Love this guy's work.
Oh, jeez, you guys. Get me all smiling. Well, I'm happy. Honestly, seriously, I think that's one of the things that I was thinking about my years of working in advertising and corporate. And trust me, I got paid very well during those times, but it's not like what I'm experiencing now. And I think that's what I kind of missed, was the fact of, and why comic books kind of pull me back. I'll get back on what the whole path of comic books, because working in that kind of field, you're on a level where you're working with corporations and companies, $1 million accounts, man. I can't even tell you that. Like, I did stuff for GMC. I did stuff for Gillette, Dunkin' Donuts, like a lot of people, Wendy's, all kind of different stuff. I would sit back sometimes and look at TV commercials, and I'd be like, yeah, I worked on that commercial. And people be like, wow, man. I'm like, yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio comes out, he's like, yeah, that was me. I did
it. But the reality is that no one from the comic book industry would know that. And why would they care? There are thousands of artists right now that are working as commercial illustrators, and they've worked on so much stuff that regular folks have seen, be it from the movies and storyboards, being from like packaging art. I knew a cat that I went to school with who did most of the packaging art for like Hasbro's figures, like Star Wars and stuff. He'd be like, "Yo, Frank, check out this," and he would send me stuff, and he's packaging art for some of these figures. And how many people who are in comic books would look at the packaging and be like, wow, that's some cool art. Who's this person? There's probably a number of people who push themselves to find out who the person is. But I understand how the comic book industry is like, we know our comic book artists because that's what we're reading. So for me, once I started, I was feeling those urges where I'm like, yeah, I'm respected in this industry, but it would be kind of nice to be able to do artwork. And like that I really, that I really like, and that people can hang on their walls, because advertising, unless you're doing like a magazine cover or something like that, and even still, that's kind of whatever. And I've done some magazine cover stuff and whatever, but it's not stuff that people, comic book people would really be like, oh, I want to, on the wall or whatever. But to have that, like what I'm seeing here, where people go, man, I love this dude's work, or I want to hang your work, I want to buy a piece of your work and put up on my wall. That's a whole nother level, man. That's just like something where it just taps you here. It's like, man, it's like, so I'm very grateful. That's my whole point. I know I'm going all over the place, but I'm just very grateful. Thank you very much for just caring, man. There's a lot of artists out there, and I know that people, you're looking at so much wonderful art, and you're sort of trying to decide who's for real, who's not, who's an AI artist, who's, whatever. And then, so when you take that chance and you come along and you say, I like this cat's work, then thank you very much. I'm honored.
So says Frankie, keep wondering why people like you. It's not even hard to figure out.
Oh, man, jeez. Get me all weeping up here.
In case anybody comes in.
Oh, it's nice though, man. Well, it's so funny because I told a person once, I said, well, let's be honest. Because they go, yeah, because I ask my wife that all the time. They go, well, he's always a happy guy and whatever. And she's like, they were like, does he ever get angry? And I said, she's like, yeah, he does. But my anger is not like how it used to be. Thank goodness. I did go to therapy years ago because I needed help. I was feeling that I was going down a path that I might not be sitting here today talking to you. That's how bad it was getting for me, because I've experienced a lot of traumatic things in my life. And when I look back at it, if you look at what I do, like Kajus and Cowboys, you look at Kajus, why I love Kajus. Those are giant creatures that go on rampages and they destroy everything and then they leave. Well, there you go. That's an insight on Frankie B. That's my therapy. When I draw these giant monsters, that's a reflection of something deep inside of me. You know, I like the Wolfman. I love the werewolves. Why do I like werewolves? Well, I like the fact that it'd be pretty cool to just undergo this transformation where you just free yourself of all these things that's inside of you and you just change. Now, do I want to go out and hurt innocent folks?
People?
No, I wouldn't want to hurt innocent folks. I just leave it like that. I wouldn't want to hurt innocent.
Oh man!
Folks.
And now I'm just picturing you turn to a werewolf with your axe and just
with the dreadlocks. With the dreadlocks. Oh, somebody's gonna draw that. Wouldn't that be insane? But I mean,
that's like a metal shirt right there.
But I think every artist imparts a little bit of themselves into it. Like I look at artists' work and I go, yeah, there's a story there. I don't think it's as just simple as you just drawing something. I think that there's people who draw stuff and it's like, oh, we might be looking at a little piece, just like any artist though. Musicians, writers, we all impart a little bit of ourselves in the work. So I draw giant monsters. But then also I like giant robots. And why do I like I tend to like giant robots where you can sit and control them and operate them, that kind of thing. So what does that mean? Well, I would say like my psychosis on with that stuff is that the level of control, but still power. Having that little whatever, the control mechanism inside me that keeps me on the straight and narrow. That's the control, the giant robot going against the other Frankie B, who's the kaiju. And they're conflicting against one another, battling, you know, order, chaos kind of thing. So yeah, it's a deeper thing.
Yeah, Brandon, I feel like it was messed up your name, Staroxy.
Ooh, I ain't touching that. I'll stick with Brandon. My man B. I like that's one thing about me. I'm old school. I'll break those names down. Yo, B, what's up? You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, B.
good to have you in the chat, Brandon.
Right on, Brandon. Right on. Thank you for coming.
Shadow Hawk says he'd make you a chainmail shirt to go with it, but you're a pretty big dude, Frankie. That's a lot of steel.
Oh, right on. I know, man. No worries. No worries. Chainmail though. Ooh, that would be nice, man.
Maybe we could work a trade.
Oh shoot. Maybe.
Give me some of that art.
You know what I would love, honestly, is that I would love for somebody to make B-Win's hat. The cowboy hat that B-Win busts. Yeah, I don't know if I have it in here. But I would love to see somebody make this hat. I don't know if I can get a good picture of it. Yeah, this is probably that's a crappy picture. Yeah, if somebody can make that cowboy hat, because I'm going through that phase now where I think I want to have a cowboy hat. I'm just so finicky.
Oh, let me full screen it there.
Yeah, there you go. Like B-Win's hat's right there. B-Win's the main protagonist of Kajus and Cowboys. I'm gonna get that hat. I want to bust a cowboy hat, man, with a big green gem right in the center. Yeah. Yes, bust that.
Let's see. Oh, Scotsman's here. He says, Sugar Crisp. Would it be, bud? How's it going, Scotsman?
Would it be, bud? I love that.
Let's see. Let me scroll down. Devil Player says he's a crazy genius.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh, dang it. When I scroll down on this dang StreamYards, it'll just refresh and it kicks me all around.
Oh.
I got to refine where I'm at. One of his first jobs was splitting wood in the summer for the winter.
Ooh, I bet the arm strength on you, man. I used to lift. I another dream for me would have been if I started earlier in high school, would have been trying to be a power lifter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tried football, but see, my brother was like, he played all sports. He was just like a beast, man. He came from Alabama and stuff, and he just was like dominating everything. And I would sort of go to games and stuff, and people would be like, "Oh, you know, there's Little." They used to call me Little Wash because his name. He was Big Wash, and I was Little Wash. So it was just like this competition kind of thing, and I kind of was like, I'm not into this. I'm not into football the way you are. But weightlifting has always been this fascination I had, especially with strength, body. I love all of bodybuilding. But I love powerlifting. I love the sense of like being able to lift heavy things and stuff. So for a time, I did get into lifting off and on. really intense stuff, German volume training and that kind of stuff. And then I stopped, and then my eating was horrible. My it was my eating was horrible. But I still would try to get out there and do the lifting and stuff. So now I'm in a phase now in my life where I'm more into cardio stuff now. Still lifting a little bit, but not as intense. Chilling now. I'm getting
Chris
older
starts
now.
the day with 2 hours of gym and 12 eggs, don't you, Chris?
You're a beast, man. Beast. Well, it's addictive, man. It's addictive. It is, man.
I can do the 2 hours of gym, but I don't know about. I don't diet. No, I just eat what I want.
No calorie. Yeah, I'm calorie counting, man. I got to though.
I can't do all that.
It's a level. Yeah, it's a level though. I think that's the thing. I'm fascinated with that level of control. Like people who are able to really maintain that control over their their physicality and everything like that. It is, man. But yeah, powerlifting, like dudes just lifted heavy stuff, man. Like lift a tire and toss it. Like you're able to do something that only a few people on this planet could do, strength wise.
Yeah,
But I'm happy to see a lot.
Bradshaw.
Oh, right? What a beast!
Yeah,
what a beast, man. He didn't retire?
Yep, I think he just
retired. Yeah, he did, which is smart. I'm starting to notice that a lot of the youngsters, I call them youngsters, but they're getting out of the game. They're trying to get out of the game without massive injuries.
Yeah. Well, how old is he at this point? He's got to be like in his late 30s.
Is he 30s?
40s,
late 30s? Yeah. All right.
Some of the big guys, it's hard to tell. They're just, he looks older than he probably is.
Yeah. But boy, what a strong guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I started going to the gym and all that stuff, I was like, because my friend, he wanted to get real big and lift real heavy and stuff. I was like, I don't want to do that. I've heard too much about their knees being bad or their backs and stuff. I was like, I don't want all that. I want to be able to function when I'm older.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too, was like later on, I started getting into running. Like I've had 2 surgeries. When my weight got down, and then I got into running. So I was more like, I went through phases where I was into lifting a lot, trying to get like the massive, like big, whatever. And then it was like, that's not gonna be good for your heart. You need to have some cardio. And then I got into cardio and stuff like that. And then I had to get surgery on my neck, and in my back, lower spine, man.
Oh man.
Oh, so that changed a lot for me, man.
That's scary.
Yeah. Got to get it done, but I'm glad that everything's worked out. But it definitely changed my my whole sense on my workout thing. Like now I'm more into doing cardiovascular workouts and stuff. Get the heart rate up a little bit, but then it's come down and stuff.
Yeah, when I go to the gym, I always do a mile on this I guess it's CrossFit. I don't know.
Yep, nice
sort of thing, and my heart will be like 170 or something going
on. You're a beast, man.
Coming down. I'm like,
you're a beast. Oh, he's ready for the zombie apocalypse. He's going to be the dude running, man. Like, see you later.
He's got to be the fastest.
Trying to keep up with him.
Yeah, I just got to outrun everybody else.
See you later.
What's Marinus here? So he says, take notes, Chris. Stop being toxic on Twitter and lose the skinny fat. I am not
back to skinny fat.
What is skinny fat?
It's like the Grinch. He's like skinny, but he has the belly.
Yeah, that's what he keeps saying.
The little pouch belly.
Fat. Well, with Marinus, if you're not real jacked and muscled, bound, you're skinny fat. There's only 2 things with him.
I've seen some strong guys who did not even look that muscular, man. That's what blows my mind. Like dudes, like I remember lifting against dudes, and they didn't even look like they were like they weren't ripped. They would just be like this physical strength. Like they just had a physical strength. And technique too. They had a fantastic technique, and they'll come in and be like, bam, 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 bam. Like, whoa. Like, okay.
Yeah, there's always those people that underestimate the weight. I always like watching them. People put on the 45s, they get up there and they're just like,
yeah,
more than you thought, buddy.
Scroll down here.
So, what movies are you guys like really interested in seeing that are coming out?
Movies that's coming out. What's coming?
Transformers.
I think visually that one's gonna be nice. The Beast Wars.
Yep. Yeah. Which I love the Beast Wars series too.
Oh yeah.
For what it's worth, I enjoyed that series.
How many seasons did that go? Was it like 2 or 3?
No, it was I got the set in there. I feel like it was 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah, because they went into like metal. There was like the metal something. characters. I know I got some of the original figures. Actually, I'm looking at Megatron right now as a T-Rex.
What's cool is they've
eventually he became
Some
like, what was it, like a dragon or something?
Yeah, I got the dragon too. He's laying up somewhere. Yeah, I got the dragon. I got Optimus as the gorilla. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that when it first aired.
Yep. And it's funny if you look at the
like a rat or something, a mouse.
Rat trap, right?
But if you look at it, you look at the old show now with the CG, the computer generation. It's so weird now, so dated. But it's still cool. Like I'll sit there and watch it, but it's still kind of like, oh, okay.
I used to watch that every time it was on. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I liked it.
I feel kind of bad. It's like I grew up in the 80s where the cartoons back then, like to me, I love Jason the Wheeled Warriors, things like that. You ever heard of Jason the Wheeled Warriors? Oh, dude, like the music on that, Galaxy Rangers. Anybody in the chat? Come on.
Yeah.
People in the chat. The music, like they would use like the sound, like the music and stuff. Thundercats.
Thundercats,
There's something about the music, like they really pumped the music up. It was like you're thinking like soundtrack music to like movies and stuff. Oh, love that stuff. Beast Wars.
I still love some of the '90s music.
All right,
it's a little bit more upbeat. Like Rescue Rangers.
Oh, of course.
DuckTales.
Yes, of course. Gargoyles.
Yeah.
And was it Tailspin? Tailspin? Baloo?
Yeah.
Those were great shows. That's when Disney was at. They were doing some great stuff right there. Gargoyles was animals. Yeah, but Gargoyles was amazing, man. Oh,
yeah. I heard there might be another season of that coming, right? And they're in talks.
Yeah, but we'll see how they handle it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Sim was here, he would have immediately popped for that Galaxy Rangers reference. He'd have been
Galaxy Rangers, man. I know some people in the chat must remember Galaxy. There you go. The Bionic Six. Thank you. Mask.
Mask. I loved Mask.
Mask was incredible.
I loved
Wasn't it a great show?
Yes. So good. And I wish I had all of the comics. I don't have all the comics.
All right, here you go. I'm gonna stop it right now. Inhumanoids. Chat. Does anybody remember Inhumanoids?
Yeah, I had some of the toys.
I got the comics. I got the comics that Marvel put out.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's amazing. And Humanoids was incredible. Like, it was like H.P. Was it H.P. Lovecraft? It was like Lovecraftian, but it was like just a cartoon. Yeah, and they didn't skimp on anything.
My toys are still at the old house, just setting off somewhere. I went to one of the cons and somebody was selling them for like crazy money.
Yeah.
They're worth that much. They're just piled up somewhere in the old house.
I wish I still had my Shogun. I have some of my Shogun. Well, let me see. This is a Shogun Warrior. This isn't one of my original ones, but this is Raideen.
What is that?
Die-cast metal, baby. Look at that die-cast metal.
Yeah, I didn't even
look at it. Yeah, his wings are all jacked up, like this all loose, but it's seen some years. But yeah, there you go. That's a Shogun Warrior. Cool. Yeah, let's see what else I got. You guys remember this guy?
Let me full screen it.
Voltron.
I had him, yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I really didn't know they made a Shogun Warrior toy. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Let's see who else I got. Oh, this guy, Johnny Sokol.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Look at that. Oh.
Wow.
I love it, man. I love all this stuff, man. This is the magic that I want to do, like create with like Codgers and Cowboys. Oh.
Let's see. Oh, Fanta's here. Hey, Fanta.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, we got Pale Rider.
Wow, there's a lot of folks that came. Listen to this rant session.
It's because that's what I'm talking about. They're like, "Oh, Frankie's here. We gotta come in."
Come on. Okay, here, look at this. I'm gonna shock everybody. Who's this?
Silverhawks.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the name of the character, but I remember Silverhawks.
Oh gosh, yep. Sim would be. He'd be.
That's one I would like to see become a movie sooner or later.
Oh, you and me both. You and me both. Oh man.
I think it had a short run.
Yeah, it did. It was one of the better. It was like Thundercat. First, it was Thundercats, and then the Silverhawks, and then
I had the Silverhawks pajamas. You know, but pajamas was like the thing back in the day. So I had
they were
the wings.
No way.
Yeah.
They actually made pajamas. Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. All right. I didn't know that.
That's how little I was when that came out. They were just marketing it like a year before
but the music, but you listen to the music, and it's funny, like dun 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 tally hawk, dun, you know, it's like and then of course, hold on a second, let me see if I get my man.
Yep.
Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can do it. Moonstar of Limbo. Give me the might. Give me the muscle. Monster. Nah, I screwed up. I don't know what he says, the other line. It's because it's not, I'm using Mumra's thing, but this is Bunstar, man.
Yeah, I had the original figure of him. Man. And when I was little, and I had no idea what he was from, but I was like, he is so cool looking.
Yeah.
Did his head flip, right? Like, had a different head that would flip up, right?
Nancy does it? Let me see. Yeah, like the hair, what would happen? Not in this figure, but
like the original
he
one,
was like,
right?
He was like a hairy guy. He was like this hairy dude. And then these moonbeams from like Limbo, as soon as they struck him, he would absorb the energy through his star eye. And then literally his body, like this suit of armor, it was a weird process. It was like form over his body. And then he would become like this giant robot kind of being.
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
Man, I played with that figure I had of him like for so much because I was like, oh, he's so cool looking.
King Cryptid stuff. I can't. Let me see, because I'm actually working on the I'm working on the King Cryptid stuff right now. I can't really show anything. It's weird because that's the thing. It's like it's so weird now because it's like I'm actually doing work for a publisher, Alternative Comics. And so it's weird. It's an interesting kind of thing and stuff where I'm like, okay, like Pete's sending me, designs and stuff like that, and just sort of getting my mind wrapped around that, because I have done comic book stuff, but it wasn't to the level of working with a publisher. It was more like anthology here or whatever. Somebody's putting something out, and now, go ahead, Frank, just go ahead and draw something, whatever. But now it's like there's some rules you got to sort of follow. So I can't really show stuff. Yeah, which I understand. It's just, that's how it would be also with any other publisher out there. They'd be like, don't show nothing yet. We want to surprise everybody.
Oh, there's Sim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You missed out, Sim. You missed out on Galaxy Rangers, Silverhawk talk.
I know.
Stuff.
Did you see Sim? Did you see any of that? You're in the Silverhawks?
Of course I am.
Right on, man. Here you go. I forgot the company that just made these, man. But I spent a little bit of money on these.
Oh, they just came out?
Yeah, these came out. These were like, I got these guys. I ordered them last year through Big Bad Toys. But here, you got this guy, and then I got the birds as well. So you see the size on them.
Mm-hmm.
I love the detail. I know Super 7 is supposedly doing their own figures, but I love like the design on these. These were incredible. Heavy, nice and heavy, nice movements, shiny. Got to look like silver.
They look pretty cool.
Thank you very much.
Real quick, Harley and Quinn says, hello, Chad. Is the giveaway today? Did I miss it? No, it's on Monday. That's when Sim's birthday is. So that's when we're doing
on. Right on.
Yeah, we're doing a reversal. Instead of Sim getting given gifts, we're giving the chat gifts, apparently.
Oh, that's nice. Look at Ramen Toys. Thank you. That's the name of the company. Coleman, thank you very much. Ramen Toys is amazing. Oh, the figure. Look, have you guys looked at figures today? Like actual action figures? What's blowing my mind is the cost, though. Like, I love a lot of the robot stuff, but the cost.
I know. I got Optimus Prime and Rodimus Prime, and they're not cheap.
Ooh, I mean, it's like I can't justify it. Like this. Sometimes like $300, $500. I mean,
oh no way!
How do you? I know that's hardcore, man. That's another. Like they released. Was it HasLab released that Unicron? Wasn't it Unicron that they released? And it was like $500. Was it? I think it was more than that. Wasn't it like $1,000?
Man.
And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I can't pay rent this month. Why?
Yeah, exactly. I know. We can't eat. Yeah, no heat.
Toys.
No heat. But you got a toy. You got a cool Unicron.
Unicron. No thanks. I went to yard sales and picked them up for like $1.
Yeah. It's like that self-transforming Optimus Prime that's pretty goddamn cool, but dude, the price is sick.
Oh, the transforming one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Isn't
just Optimus Prime is $1,000 US.
Yeah. Oof. And then and if it breaks,
then if you want the trailer,
if it breaks, what if it breaks down? Now how much is gonna cost to repair it? Ooh. Yeah, it's funny how like toys, like they really. I was trying to see what anything else I got. Yeah, I got Gypsy. I got this right here. This is a popcorn thing. Overseas.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that wild? I told you, man. I love my robots, man. Love them.
Shadowhawk.
I'm a huge fan of Grandizer. I don't know if you know that one.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I just showed Ray Dean. I do got Grandizer, but he's put up though. But I did show Ray Dean from the Shogun Warriors. It's an actual Ray Dean from the actual Shogun. Although his arms, he's missing one of his arms. Pieces everywhere. This is actually this character. If you like Grandizer, this character was custom made for me. Well, not for me, but there was a guy years ago. I was part of this club, Super Robot Club, and he made this is all die-cast metal.
Oh, look at that.
And this character is from Grandizer. Head comes off. All magnetic. Arms come off.
That's pretty cool.
All metal. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. As soon as this guy made him, like it was like a custom thing. I said, dude, sign me up. I'm taking it.
Oh, we got Pedro in the chat. Hey, Pedro.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Who else we got? Let me scroll down. Phil's here.
All right.
Yeah, well, calm down there. I know, Phil, you got those big guns.
Oh, he's a lifter, huh? Yeah, strength, man. I love that.
Yeah, him and Shane are in competition for.
I think I'm bigger than Phil at this point.
Gun. Whoa.
Pumping them weights, huh? You got them weights over in the corner?
Go gym 5 days a week.
Oh, wow. Nice, man. That's a cool dedication, man.
I'm like,
I got respect for that.
Shares 10 pictures a day of his muscles.
Like, am I looking good? I'll tell you a scary story, though. I remember when I first started lifting. This was when I was in high school. A friend of mine. See, this is another thing too. Where I try to tell people when you're starting out lifting, make sure that you're working out with somebody who actually is knowledgeable and understanding of the process of weightlifting. Because weightlifting shouldn't be something you just immediately run into. It's a process. Getting your body acclimated to lifting massive weights. Well, what happened was my friend, because we're males and stuff, and we all got to try to, rib each other and whatever. So he's like, all right, Frank, brings me to the gym. I'm starting to lifting like a madman, going nuts. I go home, and my arms are sore, right? So I'm going home, and I'm like, yeah, that's sore. And he's like, Frank, it's no problem. It's just sore. The next day I wake up, and I can't move my arms. And then, a pain that you would never have imagined. And I'm like, okay, my arms are red. I'm a dark-skinned guy. My arms are red, man. I go to use the bathroom, and it's just brown. I'm like, I got to go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital. They take a urine sample, and they're like, we got to admit you in because you just tore your biceps. Oh. And I ripped both of my biceps.
On day
horribly, both of them, and so I had to stay in the hospital, and they put IVs in me, and they had to flush my system out because it was going into my kidneys.
Oh my gosh!
So that's a warning about just going in, and somebody like he had already been lifting for a few years, so his body was acclimated to extreme lifting. But you can't bring a newbie on, a greenhorn, whatever you want to say, somebody on there, and just be like, "Yo, lift a ton of weights and whatever." No, you got to take it gradually. Don't let ego get in the way. Hey, if you can only do 10 pounds, then just do 10 pounds. You do a bunch of reps, whatever, and then call it a day. But it's about the process, man. I don't want, because my biceps, the good thing about it was that I was young at the time, so I was able to recover. So my biceps came back pretty good. But, I could have really did some serious damage. I've seen people who have damaged their biceps to the point where they just look deformed, man. And it's no joke, man. It's no joke. So, take care of yourself out there. Take your time. Just like anything. Process, man. Yep. I love watching how, what was it? What's my favorite movie? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Pumping Iron. It's these ultimate of documentaries and stuff. And again, it's a process. It's like you start from this point and you start building up. And then you make the decision whether or not you want to go to the next level, which is you're just going for strength, like really big body, or you're going to go for bodybuilding and sculpting.
Oh gosh, what is that Schwarzenegger quote? Humping and pumping is the two best things for your body, or something.
Yeah. He was just so amazing, man. So charismatic too. I mean, also Lou Ferrigno. I got a chance to meet Lou Ferrigno once at a con. He wasn't in a good mood that day. I'm gonna check it up to that. He just wasn't in a good mood, and I get it. He's human. And I just remember him walking by, and he was a massive dude. He was a big dude, man. Whew. Man, I was like, oh,
yeah, he's still got a lot of strength to him. He's still big.
Yeah, he still got some strength to him.
Harley and Quinn, any news on the red dress, or did it already happen? The red dress run is on August 12th, so that's when I'll be going. Harley. As for I have not bought the red dress yet.
You're gonna wear a red dress? You're gonna wear a red dress?
Yes.
Wow, dude.
Wear a dress.
Well. All right.
I gotta go down in August to New Orleans for a red dress run.
Wow.
Like a charity, run.
Kudos to you, man.
I told the chat if I got past 1,000 subscribers, I would go do it, and we got past it, so I gotta go do it this year.
Awesome.
But I don't mind doing it since it's for charity,
No, there you go. That's it, man. You're giving back. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, man.
Let's see. Beast Wars was a sneeze over reboot.
I agree. Like reboot was started it all, and then Beast Wars came, and followed. Yeah.
Oh, Will said he didn't like Beast Wars.
Didn't like it. Didn't like Beast Wars. Well, flavors.
Did you collect? Did you collect Battle Beast? I don't know. I never got a cartoon. I don't think.
You know what? I think I had. Hold on a second. I think I had one Battle Beast, but I never followed Battle Beast. Yeah, I think didn't they have a comic book that came back through IDW.
It's
or something?
Technically part of like the Transformer universe. It had a little bit of a tie-in. But as far as like a mainstream cartoon, I don't think it ever really got too far.
Someone just mentioned Jason. Oh, cops! It's crime fight. It's crime fighting time.
I like Cops.
Cops was freaking good.
Wasn't that opening amazing? That opening was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to just say that I
made mess of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one I liked a lot was Mask.
Mask was awesome, but I was going to say I worked at an animation studio, so back then was 2D animation, and when you see those shows. Look at what 2D animation can do. The level of detail and like in Cops, as you watch Cops, I mean, there's a scene where a character gets thrown up, but it's so quick. It's like they get thrown and the guy catches them and puts handcuffs on them and then drives it, and it's just fluid, man. It's like, oh my God. And someone drew that. Like people drew that. It wasn't no computer generated stuff or anything like that. They drew that out.
Let me see here. Let me see what everybody's saying here. Oh, we got Glacier Mountain Comics. He says, afternoon. What up, everyone? Oh,
hey, what's going on? I'm surprised we're not talking about Godzilla. Gamera, Godzilla.
Do you like the movies? The newer movies?
Of course. I felt I'm somebody who I grew up on what was called the Showa era. So the Showa era is like the pre-70s and the 70s when Godzilla was fighting the smog monster. Oh yeah, that's right. Children ways. The the smog. The real to me that was fun, like fighting aliens and stuff where they moved around. So I felt like the legendary stuff captured that magic. Like it's like if you watch King Kong and Godzilla, there's this massive skip where you go, wow, they got technology now where they can just zip on over to Japan or whatever from Florida. And it's like, where did that come from? But see, that's how the old movies were. They didn't explain it. They just be like, okay, well, it's like, it just exists.
Now.
Yeah, you don't well, that's one of the things. It's funny. Like I remember as a kid when growing up, we didn't have the luxury of the internet and like getting a lot of information about films. We would just get a trailer. You get a trailer. Like when Alien first came out, I remember seeing that trailer, man, and I didn't know what it was about. I just was like, wow, that's curious. And then when I went to go see it, my mind was blown. And so it was like you had time to just kind of like look at it, but then you didn't focus on it until the point when you had to go see the movie.
It didn't have a lot of exposure like today.
You didn't have a lot of exposure. And that's the thing I think is that sometimes we got overexposure where I see people overthinking stuff. Like I sit there and when I watch Godzilla, when I watch anything, but when I watch Godzilla and those monsters, I'm not sitting there trying to get theories on like how much Godzilla weighs, or like, like what? Hypothetically, I'm like, dude, this isn't a college course. It's just it's fantasy. It's a giant monkey is fighting a giant reptile on a ship. a battleship, and I'm gonna accept that. I'm gonna immerse myself into that wonderful magic.
The best thing about Godzilla back in the day was you always kind of waited to see what the next monster was. At least that's for me.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up where you had to go rent movies, so it was kind of a treat. End of the week, go rent a Godzilla movie, and it was like, who's he battling this week? Was it a giant lobster? Or, like you said, you didn't really have to like overthink it.
Yeah, there's too much overthinking on stuff, I think. And it takes, I'm like, wow, how do you have fun enjoying something? How do you have fun watching something if you're overthinking,
you got 200 YouTubers telling you
it's good or not. How strong is this character? This character wouldn't theoretically do it. It's like, really? But it's a made-up character. He can do anything they want. If it's only that character is only limited by the imagination of the writers, the writer who's writing it. The character could do anything if they want to, if they just wanted to, just like when Godzilla fired that blast to through the planet and stuff like that. I was like, that's beautiful. I was like, that's wonderful. He fired a blast through China or Japan or whatever, and then it went down to a world where Kong was down there, and then Kong climbs up through the friggin' thing. Then he's fighting in the city, and you go, oh, okay, I'm good with that.
All right then.
That works for me.
Harley, don't listen to that Marinus. He's telling you, I don't know what he's telling you. Yeah, it's happening. The red dress thing is happening. We got to over 1K, so we're gonna do it. I just like I say, it's they only do it like once a year, I think. Yeah. So it's August 12th. So I'm gonna try to make it up there.
Did they put it up for this year?
Well, they've got it on here on the New Orleans website, August 12th, 2023. So I guess so.
Are you gonna have somebody videotaping you while you're running? Like, how are you gonna show proof? Are you just gonna show pictures?
Yeah, Pell Rider was supposed to be there riding his Barbie Jeep.
I just want you to have a self cameo on just right there.
God, I haven't been to New Orleans in years, man.
I've never been there.
Really?
I think it would be amazing to see that video with Chariots of Fire.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you gotta videotape
in slow-mo.
Yeah, you gotta do that. Yeah. So this is just like, I tell you, just like high school. Yeah, dude, you need to do that. It's always that person, that's whispering in your ear. It's like the devil. Come on, man. Come on. What are you gonna do? You gonna be a punk? Are you gonna be a punk? Is that you? Are you a punk? No, you're not a punk. You're gonna wear that dress of pride. You're gonna run around.
Chris blows out both his knees. I should have listened to that stream.
Yeah, your hair's gonna be flowing in the wind. You're gonna be flying past people, man, with that red dress on. Watch out for that puking.
Oh God.
Oh man, I remember like being on what's the street? Bourbon Street? Is it Bourbon? No. Is it Bourbon Street in New Orleans?
I think there's a street called Bourbon Street.
Yeah, there. Bourbon Street. Yeah. The next day, because I'm an early bird. I tend to wake up early. So I remember waking up early and going, I was like, I'm gonna go walk around, whatever, and check it out. And boy, it was gross, man. It was they were watering the streets down there. I was like, wow, man. Yeah. They party hard, man. I had a hurricane. That was the first time I had a hurricane that when I went there, and I was all like, this ain't nothing. Walking around all drunk.
It says it's always the second Saturday in August. So yeah,
there you go.
Here, and it says you can get tickets. So I'll start working on that, I guess.
There you go. He's gonna get it done. He's gonna get it done, chat, and it's gonna be proof.
I don't know what a hasher is, so I'm not a hasher.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't admit to anything.
Yeah. Why? Greg, it's your chats are showing up here on the StreamYard end.
Yeah, so we can see it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it on my phone.
Let's see. He's talking to Soul. Let's see. I'm doing boxing 5 years now. Best exercise ever.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm doing right now with the cardiovascular. Getting into some boxing. It's nice, man.
Yeah, we've been going on here, and we haven't even talked about your book.
I know. What book?
Firstly, you haven't even watched the trailer yet?
No,
I don't know trailer yet.
Well, you gotta get to know the people. Get some hype to get interested in the product.
It's been really crazy because I've been so super busy and stuff. So I try not to. I haven't been able to chance to look at it. So I'm amazed we're at 58, man. I'm all about the readers, man. I want readers. I would love to double that. Get those numbers up so that people can get the books in their hands.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm about.
Now, what what is what am I even saying? What here I am like, what's Kaiju Cowboys about? We already know. I mean, it's in the title, right?
There you go.
What's a kaiju? What's a cowboy? No.
Well, you know what's funny? It's funny because it's like we put it out there. Like Matthew, he told me the other day where he wants to sort of take the story, because we're trying to do a 12-issue series, and I'm currently reading. Well, not reading. I'm actually listening to Audible, because that's what I read some books, but because I'm working on art, I like to listen to them. Is that I started doing a Dark Tower series, and the best way I can describe Kaiju and Cowboys is it's not like the Dark Tower, but in listening how the Dark Tower is and how originally I didn't know anything about it, and I thought it was going to just be this Western story, but it's more than a Western story. You know what I mean? If you ever read the Dark Tower. So it's like
I've never actually got to read that one.
Oh, dude,
I got like three of them, 3 of the books. That's about
it's crazy. It was like I'm sitting there, like my wife read it, and she's not gonna tell me how the ending is, which I'm happy. But I was like, I'm always going to it, going, oh my god, this is not. I did not think this is what I don't know what I thought the Dark Tower was going to be. I just thought it was going to be this Western and weird Western, but it isn't. It's more than that. And I feel that's what we're doing with Kaiju and Cowboys. With the name is almost a sort of this trickery a little bit of what the real main story is about. But we have tropes in there that show us. So that we have Bwin right there, who looks like a cowboy. Why does he look like a cowboy? We have Kajus in there, and what are the Kajus, bad or good? You're gonna have to read the story to find out. That kind of thing.
Yeah, with his big. This is a ridiculous cowboy hat, Frankie. Look at
that's my homage. That's my homage to anime and manga. Like when Matthew first brought it up, he was like, Frank, because me and Matthew had worked on a webcomic series called The Secret Lives of Villains. It was on Chappa, and I think it might have been on Webtoon too. But I've been working with him for 5 years on this thing, off and on. And he came up to me and he said, Frank, he said, I'd like to do something that you would be jazzed about. And he knew I was in it, like I love kaijus and I love giant robots. So he said, how do you feel about a Western? And I said, dude, I grew up on Westerns. I mean, I grew up on the spaghetti Westerns and all that stuff, Lone Ranger, all that stuff. And so he said, all right, he said, there's going to be this cowboy guy who's a robot. And I said, all right, cool. And as soon as he said that, I saw images flash, and it was like Clint Eastwood was one image I saw. And then I saw Jet Jaguar from Godzilla vs. Megalon. Yeah. And then the final one was Jack Kirby's Machine Man.
No, Machine
And
Man.
then I was like, I saw the fusion of it coming together, and I just started drawing. And then the dreadlocks, of course, is obvious. I was like, I said, because to me, when I look at Westerns, I love Westerns with the dusters, the mystery. Like you can't really see the person's face, the intense eyes, and hair. It's like all you see, like hair blowing in the wind, the dust, the hat on, the duster, and just that creepiness of the cowboy. Those are the kind of cowboys I kind of like. So I was like, that's how Bwin, the bot with no name, would be. He would be this very mysterious character. And then I started thinking about like what would be a very powerful color, because I was like, I want to kind of do it color coded kind of. And so green, I started looking at what green means, and I forgot what it said, but green mist. I wrote it down. But I was like, that'd be kind of eerie if you had this character with green eyes. And as I started drawing it, I started thinking of like the T-1000. I was like, yeah, in the Terminator, like those scenes where his eyes, all you see is his eyes and he's coming at you. And I was like, this is going to work. And it just, when Matthew saw the design, he just went nuts and he said, all right, dude, let's do this. And funny, I didn't really think too serious about Kaiju Cowboy when it first started out. I was working on some other stuff, and I was like, all right, we'll just do it. And we did the first teaser book, which we had a campaign for, and it was successful, but it was a teaser. It didn't have a lot of words in it. It just was like, it was almost as if you see a teaser trailer for a movie. It was just, action, mostly action and a few words in it, but it was just an introduction of the character in the world. And then from there, what you're seeing right now is the accumulation of, now we're going right into the series. Like we had another campaign last year for issue 1. Now this time around, we're having the campaign for issue 1 and 2. And then we're going to have another campaign this year, and 3 is coming out too. we've already started work on the books. Like I'm already on issue 6.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but that was important. That's one of the things we sat down and talked about, because I was like, I didn't want us to get into that whole thing of not being able to give the people, if people are going to contribute to our campaign. Me personally, I'm just saying is that I just felt I don't want people waiting to get their stuff for a very long time. I want to be able to get the books out to people so technically what you're paying for or contributing to is the print of the book and just whatever, just some of the few little things. Like I'm doing commissions and stuff, and my rate for commissions is pretty, knocked down, pretty fair rate and stuff, but you're going to get great artwork, original artwork and stuff like that with that. So there you go.
All right. I'm going to play the trailer now.
All right, there you go.
1 hour, 15 minutes in.
Hey everyone, it's Matthew Blair. I just wanted to stop by after the trailer to show my face and let you know what's going on behind the scenes. So for those of you who have donated to our crowdfunding campaigns in the past, thank you so much and welcome back. And for those of you who are just finding us and checking us out, welcome to Kaijus and Cowboys. So for those of you who are new, I've been working with artist Frankie B Washington over the past couple of years on this comic. It started as a one-shot, but we've actually been able to turn it into a 12-issue series. And while we did have a publisher, unfortunately, it did not work out, but It's okay. No hard feelings. And we've decided to release the whole thing independently on our own through Kickstarter. So this current Kickstarter is for issues 1 and 2 of the 12-issue series, and we're working on getting more crowdfunding campaigns up and running in the future. We're aiming to do another one later this year, and we're going to be releasing the book over the next couple of years, so you get the full Kaijus and Cowboys experience. So check us out. Check out some of the amazing rewards that we have in store for you. And if you have any questions, my comments are always open. So thank you so much, and keep that creativity strong and the art flowing.
And there he goes, the other troublemaker of this team.
So what do you think people will be getting the book, since you already have these 2 issues done, correct?
Yep.
So like how long after the Kickstarter will you be distributing the books, you think?
Oh, we distribute. Boy, we're pretty quick. It really depends on where people are located, but we say in a window of at least 1 to 3 months.
Okay.
And sometimes it could be quicker, but definitely it's not going to be like a long, like no 6 months, no 4 months, but in that window of time,
Yeah.
Oh, Grey Wolf Graphics is joining us.
What's going on? Right on.
So there
I mean, this is another. This picture right here was sent to me from somebody who lives in the Philippines, and he's an amazing toy builder, and he got our comic book from the very first one, the one that we did last year. He got a comic, that's issue 1, and he decided to take a picture with himself reading in front of his collection, and I was like, dude, I mean, you can't even. I mean, this is the stuff that I love the most. Like, I want to see more people. If you get our comic, please take pictures, showcase your, whatever you have, a collection of robots, monsters, or whatever, reading a comic, that'd be great. It helps us. It gets the word out. It shows people that that it's actually real. This is a tangible thing. It's a tangible thing that you have in your hand. And it's just great for morale, man. It's fantastic. When he sent that to me, I said, please, Wilfred, can I please use it just to showcase to people? And he said, sure, man, no problem, Frank. And he said he enjoyed the book and stuff like that. And I just was like, wow, man, thank you so much. But that was perfect. That's a fantastic picture.
Yeah, I mean that's like your target audience right there. That's who you're
looking for. Anybody who likes giant robots, anybody likes kajus, even the sense of just the old Bronze Age storytelling. If you like that kind of old school style, like I like John Byrne's work when John Byrne worked on Fantastic Four and the X-Men, but really on the Fantastic Four. And to me, I would consider like my frame of thinking when I'm working on the pages and stuff is a mix between Herb Trimpe's work on the Shogun Warriors and Godzilla and a fusion of John Byrne. Like I'm very conscious of like I want to show explosive scenes. Like even there, you got a scene with Doc. Doc is sort of partner. He's a partner to Bwin. He's a medical bot. It was funny because me and Matthew we had a little butt of heads because originally when he had the character, he wanted him to be like a kid, and I was like, "Why you got a kid?" So I ended up drawing like a big, much more bigger kind of robot design, and we kept going back and forth, and then I had just finished watching the Clone Wars, and Star Wars Clone Wars, and I was like, and it's so crazy because I've had an R2-D2 remote control robot when I was a kid, when I was young, teenage and stuff, and I had one, but I wasn't like a huge Star Wars person. I was more Star Trek. But Star Wars, I was like, yeah, I respect Star Wars for what it was, but I love the droids, I love the robots. So what happened was when I finally got the chance to watch the Clone Wars and I saw how capable R2-D2 was, I was like, I want Doc to be, I saw another flash in my head and I said, Doc Holliday, Tombstone. What was his name? My man, Val Kilmer.
Yep.
Yeah. Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell. And I said, he's going to be like Doc Holliday, but he's like R2-D2. But then I said, well, Frank, you love Bronze Age books. So immediately I started thinking of Herbie the Robot from Fantastic Four and the elongated arms. That's that right there. Like you see with his elongated arms, a classic, like, the metallic arm stretching out like Dr. Octopus or Herbie. So there's a lot of stuff that goes in there, but he's a fusion of that. And Matthew was just like, all right, cool. It looks cool, Frank. And we worked from there. And we got some pages.
Look at that, nice and actiony. Yeah.
Well, also another thing too, I grew up on comic books that had the primary colors. It was like primary and then secondary. So you had these nice, vibrant colors in comics. I always felt that my artwork, because of I use a lot of darks with my artwork, line weight and stuff like that. I just love the simplicity of like strong, bold colors. I think that they're great. I think they help pop things out. And so I was like, that's what I want to do. So I do the coloring as well. I also do the sound effects. I'm not a letterer. And I like to stress that. We have our own letterer. But the sound effects are stuff that I hand do because I consider the sound effects as part of the artwork.
Yeah, I mean, Like if a sound effects done right, it can really add to the page. Yeah. Let's see a bit more. What's chat say? Soul says Tombstone is my favorite Western.
Oh yes! Oh man! Oh, love it. I'll be your Huckleberry, Finn. No, did he say Huckleberry or Huckleberry? Did he just say Huckleberry? Yeah. Oh, and Young Guns. Oh my God, you guys are killing me, man.
Young Guns, man. Young Guns incredible. 2. The first one was okay. The second one was.
Oh man. Oh,
the shootout, watching everybody die. You're like,
no, that was rough.
So good.
Oh, then you know what? And then I'm gonna show my age. Then the Wild Bunch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know that one.
Oh, dude, you need. Oh, Sam. What's his name? Sam Peckinpah. Help me, chat. Is it Sam Peckinpah who directed? The Wild Bunch. It's up there as one of the most classic westerns.
Yeah, I've watched the Wild Bunch.
The scene at the end, man, when they start doing the shootout. It's the most amazing cinematography ever, man. Ever. Please, you have to see it. Please.
Yeah, I haven't had Western in a long time.
Oh my God, man. It's incredible.
My mom loves Westerns.
I've
watched so much Westerns.
Yes. Yep. Me too, man. Me too.
Oh gosh. Yeah. She was just watching. Oh, what was it? Oh, that one Western show that they went on forever.
The Rifleman?
No.
Kirk Connors? Bonanza?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah, there you go. Bonanza's classic. I tell you, for me, was I loved a lot of spaghetti westerns. And I loved, again, oh God, my brain just went dead. I just said his name. Clint Eastwood. I love Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, he's always iconic. And to me, Pale Rider. I mean, I love Unforgiven, but I love Pale Rider. Pale Rider was a great movie. There's a line in it, man, where he just goes, "A good piece of hickory don't hurt no one." I'm like, I agree. I agree. A good piece of, there's some hard heads. My mom always said, she was from the South. She was like, there's some hard heads out there. hard heads, and a good piece of hickory don't hurt no one. Yeah, it sure don't.
Kind of switch.
Sure.
Lee Van Cleef, he was such a good.
Oh, wasn't he Angel Eyes? In The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he was Angel Eyes. Oh, wasn't he? Oh, a certain look. I think it's something about the look, the way they just. As an artist, visually, I would always be like another person who I really enjoyed. His look was. He played in westerns, but he also played in the. I know. I'm just. Oh my! It sucks getting old, dude. It sucks to get old. His name is right there. He played in the not the movie is called Vindicator, but he was like a vigilante. Death Wish. Charles Bronson.
Oh, Charles Bronson. Yeah.
Give me a second. See, I was getting there. Charles Bronson had a look about him that I just he played in a lot of westerns, and he just had this low key kind of like persona, man. But he could do some damage.
And my dad loved Death Wish.
I'll tell you this though. Me personally, I read the book, and they did justice to the movie. The movie was a lot better, in my opinion, my humble opinions. Yeah, I felt the book was a little that and that's sometimes that happens. Like you get like I finished reading the book for you ever see the horror movie Life Force?
Yes.
I read the book, man. My wife read the book too, and I tell you, man, it was. The movie helped it. It was boring. It wasn't a long book, a long story, but it just was boring. I was sad about it. I was just like, wow, this is kind of boring. I said, yeah, Hollywood hooked this up. They made it really like interesting. Like, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we got Jimmy Reyes with us. Hello, sir. Red Dress. I'll have to send Dunkel Zippa the link to the stream. He loves westerns. I showed him the Grave Robbers comic. I had to order him a copy at once.
Yeah, westerns. You're starting to see more western sort of theme stuff coming up. I mean, even like the Mandalorian, stuff like that. We're starting to see that sort of come slowly back up. And I love westerns. I love a good western where because it's very simple. I mean, to me, there's that thing where you have these sort of two-fisted justice kind of thing, and someone's going out there, and it's not like they have superpowers, but they have their skill, their wit. They may be a good gunslinger, but maybe they may be good with the blade, but it's really about their instinct and their whole sort of character about themselves, where they're just like, I'm going up against whatever this enemy is. I love that stuff, man.
Yeah, he brought up Grave Robbers. Grave Robbers. Oh, I like that comic. That was
nice. Another indie.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
It's not going to go anywhere though.
Too bad we're not getting issue 2.
Well, see, that's why we didn't want to be in that same boat. Me and Matthew had already started working on stuff, and then we just said, I said, once we get to the point where we're ahead of the game, then we just start sort of bringing things out to people, and that's kind of like what we're doing this year. 1 and 2, and then 3's coming, and then next year, 4, 5, and whatever. Just so it's enough.
I wish some people, if they were going to do if they didn't know for sure if they're going to do a second issue, at least take your time and come out with a 50 to 60 page complete story.
Yeah.
That way, it will still give time. Like, okay, maybe they won't come out the second one, but at least you're going to have story to at least hold us over till you think about a second one. But when you do like something that's like, you know,
I'm going to tell you right now, one of the words I always tell people out there is that I learned working in the art industry is that you really had to get the discipline of having a production schedule. You know, production schedules are so important. The problem is that you see people and my feeling sometimes when I see some of this stuff is that I think people have an immediate like reaction to something. Like they might have watched a movie and they go, "Oh my God, I got an idea for Predator, a new Predator kind," and then they immediately jump into it. And you got to understand that doing this stuff, doing comics, is work. And if you're gonna do this work, then you got to be serious about it. There has to look at we all can joke all day, but when you start asking people to buy stuff from you, money's being, you know, to buy your product, then there has to be a level of maturity that you got to have. That means that production schedule. Now, if we're going to do a book or something, you sit there and realistically and go, okay, we're going to give ourselves 6 months to a year to start working on this. 6 months to a year before we even talk about doing early promo. I mean, during that time of that 6 months to a year, you should be doing your research. Look at other campaigns. Look at how other people are talking online, doing the shows and stuff like that. Watch them, see how things are being done. Look at it, get a strategy together on how you want to approach this. Just like you just said, like work on a book. If you know you're not going to do an issue 2, then you say, okay, we're going to do a 60-page book that's going to wrap everything up, right? So that now people are fulfilled. They get a fulfilledness when you read the story. That may take a year. Fine, that takes a year. Even if you focus on that, try to get I would say 85% to 90% of that book done.
Yeah.
You know, if you have that much done, then you say, okay, I'm gonna do a campaign. Now you can let people know and be honest, be upfront with people. Say, look, we got 90% done. So we got the campaign here. The campaign's gonna help, and then to help pay off whatever costs or whatever such to finish up. And now we can move on. But you're gonna get this at a reasonable time. That's how it should be done. You need production time. You need to be able to look at it, to strategize, to make sure that everybody's on board. If your talent, somebody gets ill or sick or whatever, now there's some time, but it doesn't affect the production time. That's why you have to have these things applied in there earlier on. That's what we did. You know, it's funny because me and Matthew would go back and forth, and I would try to tell him, I'm like, Matthew, I'm telling you right now, I've worked in the industry. We don't immediately, when you see a commercial on TV, it's not like they immediately have a brainstorm and be like, yeah, there you go. We got this great commercial. We're going to throw it out by like tomorrow. That doesn't happen. Most times when they call an illustrator in, they've already been working on a concept like 6 months ahead. And then they go, okay, we got to call an illustrator in and have a meeting. Then I come in, I do a meeting with them, and then they hire me to start drawing images. That's what I would do. Same thing like films. Films, you're talking 6 months to a year in advance, and then they finally bring the team in and start working on stuff. But they don't immediately put it out. They don't even talk about it. You know, you don't really hear anything that they'll say about it until they know that everything is buttoned up, everything looks so much more sharper, and then they can put it out in front of the people who are going to pay to go see this stuff or buy it.
I wondered sometimes too if it's people like they don't see the numbers they wanted to see, so they just kind of, not saying like
I don't know.
Well, I just wonder if some people kind of get.
I think it could be. I think that's another thing too. Like I told Matthew, I said, Matthew, for me, I care more about the getting the books in people's hands more so than what the cost is. To me, we're not walking away from this rich. I think that from our mindset, that you have to look at this as a very mature kind of sense. It's just like any business you go into, you can't look the first few years of your business. If you open a business, you're not mostly going to be making a ton of money. That's just a reality. You just got to go through what you got to go through. So, if you do happen to make a lot of money because of whatever, then more power to you. Although I always find it kind of interesting, like if you make money on these campaigns, like say a lot of money, I don't see a lot of people talking about taxes. That factors in there. Taxes, distribution costs. I mean, when it all comes down to it, if you've made a certain amount on it, 6-figure sum or whatever and up, you're most likely not walking away with everything you're getting. That's just how it is. That's the kind of country we live in and stuff. We all pay taxes. So that's something else that people got to think about. So when you're thinking about the dollar signs and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, the more money you make, Trust me, there's going to be some eyes on that, and they're going to be like, well, where's our cut? The oldest gangsters ever.
It still kind of goes back to like when we was talking about lifting and stuff. You know, you got guys going there day one, try to lift gigantic, they're gonna be big the next day, they get hurt. I think it's the same thing with the comics, you know, like people campaign, they think like the first campaign is going to be a $50-$80, you know,
there is a rarity
campaign, and
for those rare people out there that know how to put a car engine together. And it's rare. There are people out there that can literally put a car engine together, but many of us can't. Many of us would have to go through the process of learning how to put an engine together.
Yeah,
you know. So that's the reality. If you are one of those rare people that can do that, then that's incredible, you know. But your number isn't the number, like the standard number. That means that you're something else. You're in another kind of whatever. It's just like doing this as well. Doing a comic book is work. Yep. You know, being disciplined enough to get the job, to get the stuff out there. Like when I'm having this conversation with everyone here in the chat and stuff like that, I'm telling you, we're gonna have issue 3 out this year too. It's coming out. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't going to be true. And you got to be able to stand by your word. I grew up from the time period where if you shook somebody's hand and you looked them in the eye, you stood by it. You know, there's a level of like pride. That's why I tell people, like when I worked in the art industry, the greatest, the most equity that I had was my word, my reputation. That was my equity. I'm coming into it to these companies and stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm good. They're like, well, why should we hire you? Because I'm professional and I'm gonna get the job done. Okay, let's see what you can do. And now it was literally just like that. Let's see what you can do. And I would be thrown into the fire. I remember one of my jobs that I did was for Delta Airlines, and that was my turning point because I just finished working at the off of the film, and I ran into some issues with that and stuff. And, that was a nonsense. And I still was young and I had a lot of fire in me. I mean, I was very short-tempered. And I remember one of my friends was working for one of the big agencies in Boston. And he said, Frank, you should send some stuff over to this agency because they're looking for a commercial illustrator. And I said, all right, man. So I sent some stuff. I sent comic book stuff. And I didn't hear anything. And so I told my friend about it. He said, what are you, stupid? That's how it is, man. That's what he tell you. What are you, stupid? He said, Frank, draw some stuff really fast and then resend stuff over to the art buyer. So I started looking. He said, look at magazines, see what magazines, what they have in there, draw stuff super fast, and then send it in. And that's what I did. I looked at magazines, started drawing random stuff, you know, products, people, just really random stuff, marker work, little coloring in there, spot coloring. And then I got hired. I got hired by this amazing art buyer. She was incredible. This woman was fantastic. She brought me in. And then my first gig was on a Delta. And I never forget this. I was working in there in the agency in the studio, and this art director, whatever the case, he just was a jerk or whatever. But I was young, and I remember he was trying to he tried to belittle me in front of the studio. Technically, he did. Like he just was like, well, he looked at my stuff and he just was like, because I was frazzled because this was my first gig and I didn't know what I was kind of doing. I was doing layouts and stuff, and I was freaking out, and they were under the gun. They were just like, we got to get stuff out at 7 p.m. by FedEx. And, you know, and it was much more colorful language than that. So I'm freaking out. And this dude comes up to me. And he was a smaller dude than me, man. I was definitely a lot bigger than him. And he was an older gentleman. And he just was like, he's like, why are you here? What are you, do you know how to draw? And what? And he was like that, like loud, man. And I remember I popped up. And all I saw was I felt heat on my body. I can't even describe it. Like it was a warmth. Like when I would get angry, it'd be this warmth that would just come over me, and I would stand him down, man. Yeah, I was like, I literally focused, and I was like, and I balled my fist, and I was gonna clock this guy. I just want to just take a mad swing at him, and I heard one of the guys in the studio, and he just called my name real quick. He said, Frank, and I snapped out of it. And he said, Frank, why don't you head on over go to the restroom and take a break? And I said, all right. And I walked away, and the dude sort of walked away. And I went into the bathroom, and I threw some water on my face. I splashed the water on my face. I looked in the mirror, and I said, Frank, what are you doing? I said, if you had hit this guy, you would have destroyed your career even before it started. Yeah. By action, because I would have been blacklisted. And I'll tell you this right now. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, But I'm telling you this: you do some messed up stuff out there, they they won't let you know about it, but you just won't get hired. That's my warning to anybody out there. You can call it right or wrong. It just is. It's existed for like years and years. But if you do some messed up stuff, what they consider messed up, they'll know about it, and you just won't get called. And then and so I came out. I cooled down. I went over to the person who called my name out. He's an old schooler, man, and he schooled me a little bit. And he said, Frank, he said, just breathe, man. He said, we're going to get this done. We're going to get it out by 7 and everything's going to be okay. And I did. I got it out and I breathed. And that was the defining moment. That's when I knew that I was going through this transition where it wasn't no more. I was going to be this kid with like this rage in me and whatever. I was like, I'm now going into the folds of being a professional and an adult. And that dude, the funny part about it was that art director got canned. He got canned. So it was funny. Like that was my justice, was that I had longevity in the business and that dude got canned. Yeah. But that's the thing. You have to have a level of control and discipline about yourself in anything. If I was going to be a bodybuilder or whatever, I'd have to have discipline, right?
Yeah.
You just can't eat everything. You can't whatever. It's rigid, man. I knew cats who were like bodybuilders, man, and they'd be like, yeah, dude, I got my food all laid out, Frank, and proteins here, yeah, and then I'd be like, wow, man, they're like, yeah, and I was and that stuff always amazed me. I think it's the level of control that I'm really fascinated by, like people who have a level of control to maintain something and get it done. That stuff excites me. Like when I see that, I go, wow, man, that's the level of what humanity should be about. That humans can do this, that we can push ourselves and to achieve things. Oh, dude. Well done. Well done. God, where's my grandizer? Oh.
I have this one. I have this one too.
Oh, dude. You're killing me. Oh, let me see. Hold on a second. I'm going to cut this off.
Let me check the chat here. Well, we got Hojo popping in. We got the links.
And, again, sorry for being a bit late. I woke up at 10:30. I'm like, I'm going to start the coffee machine. I'm like, I'm going to lie down for like 15 minutes.
It was only like 10 minutes.
I don't know where my grandizer is. Maybe, yeah, he's not up there. But you guys know about this guy, right?
Make a full screen there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I missed my chance to get the die-cast figure, man. And at the time, I think it was like $200 or something like that. He's way expensive now, and I'm kicking myself for that one. Oh,
one of the things I like about this little grandizer here, it does something that other toys don't do anymore.
Shoots out. Yeah, that's right. They stopped that.
Even the little missiles.
Why they stopped that, right? Like back in the day when the Shogun would, because some kid out there shot himself in the mouth with one, and then it was like, oh, dude, I'm jealous now. The black hole, man.
I love that movie.
Oh, dude, well done.
Here you have
well
Bob
done,
and Vincent.
Collect the nation right here, people. And collect the nation.
If you look behind me.
Oh, see, look at this.
Check this out.
Oh, nice.
I have Alf upstairs, up there.
Wow, look at this guy. Well done.
I have the masterpiece Optimus Prime.
This is a man that walks the walk, man. That's what I'm talking about. Well done. This is what makes fandom, man. This is what the fandom's all about, man. Collect your stuff, man. Showcase that stuff, man. I see there's people that I see some of their stuff. I went into one guy's house, man, years ago, and he had dude, Sim. I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy had figures from Japan. And I mean, like, he had a run of figures. Like, it was just like, he was like, yo, Frank, here's my grandizer collection. And I'm just sitting there, like, salivating. He had, like, the display case. He had the display cases. Everything's all neat and clean. Oh, Highlander. Oh, yeah, I saw that movie. That was good.
A lot of people don't even know about this. It's freaking good.
Oh, I know about it. Yeah, that's good.
It's like the only really good sequel to Highlander.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, this guy had figures, man, and they was just, like, he was just like, Frank, I like Vanguard Ace. And he was like, here's all the Vanguard Ace. Like, he had every figure, everything, all clean, everything. And I'm just sitting there just like, wow, man. I was like, could he probably could beat me bad if I broke through that glass. See, that's how my mind is. The thieving mind. It's like maybe I could take. Maybe if I just run fast enough, get all.
You gotta bring your battle axe.
Yeah.
Next time,
drop the axe. I know what I'm gonna hold the toys, man. But man, what a collection!
20,000 omnibuses.
Yeah, he ain't messing around, man. What do you got? Oh, dude, you got it. I came so close to getting that too. You got the different heads too, right?
No. It's the one that you had to collect.
Okay. So it wasn't the HasLab one.
So you had to buy the X-Men Legends, the entire set of each piece. Yeah,
that's actually pretty good. Look at that, man.
And I've had it for a long time, and I even used to use it for stop motion when I did my school with my kids. Yeah,
nice. Did you try to get the HasLab one? Did you see the HasLab? Oh, that one was super expensive. Man.
The thing is, I love toys.
Yeah,
I really love collecting good-looking toys, especially since the McFarlane started. Right?
Yep.
That's when the big craze started.
Yep.
The movie stuff, the Crow, and all.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, the pricing is getting way too fucking stupid.
This is where I'm at. I'm
sorry, like I wanted that fucking Keaton new Batmobile there, but $400. Fuck you.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I tell a lot of people because they always send me stuff, man, and they're like, "Frank, check this robot out." And I'm like, "Hey, I'll live vicariously through you, brother. You buy it." Yeah, that's all I can do because I can't justify it, man. What am I? Look to my wife and be like, "Well, hon, guess what? $500. This is what $500 looks like." No, I like sleeping in the big bed. I'm just saying. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm like, hey, no. I got enough figures anyway. It's a lot. My whole thing though is original artwork. I love original artwork.
Well, just those two Transformers there. The Optimus Prime was 120.
Yeah,
and you know what? And the Rodimus Prime was like $100.
Yep.
But you know they're pretty good. I think that was pretty steep already. $100 for a toy, but
yeah. Well, I've spent more than that.
But they are fun to transform, though. I have to admit
they are.
It's not like when I was a kid where it was just like a bit more simpler. No, dude. They pivot, then you unlock a box. It opens up. You slide the finger, the fist, and you're like, "What the fuck is this shit?" It's so cool. Actually, it looks like a movie.
I do admit the kids today got some really cool toys. Their figures and stuff like that. The way they transform. Oh, they released.
The pricing is crazy.
Oh,
so
it's ridiculous.
The adults can't even buy them for themselves anymore.
Yeah, it's not even for kids anymore. I don't see no kids out there buying these collectible figures.
No. Who do you think's buying that $1,000 Lego set?
Yeah, have fun with that.
That's probably not going to be a kid that's going to be playing with that. Let me tell you, like those Star Wars Lego stuff. Nope. Hey, where's my green lightsaber?
Oh,
you just fucked up my entire freaking.
So it says all the Keaton stuff in the Flash movie is just bait.
But come on, let's be honest though. I gotta admit, I got chills watching that, man. At the first Flash trailer, I was kind of like, but man, I got chills, man, seeing him like when that dude comes and crashes into the friggin' the Batwing's hood thing or whatever, and then he comes flying out of it. I'm like, whoa, dude, I got chills, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm there for the bait.
Yeah, I know. I ain't gonna lie. I'm there too. Well, see, here's the thing. Again, as somebody who grew up in the 70s and 80s, look at the stuff back then. Like back then, look at the movies that we saw, that Hollywood was doing. And then you're dreaming of the day when the technology would reach a point where you can see these characters actually realized. It's like I can't. There's a part where I can't sit there and like hate, like nitpick and hate on it. I just can't. Because I know where it came from. I've experienced Shaq's, what was it? Steel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steel.
I mean,
do you remember Blank Man? Do you remember Blank Man?
Blank Man. I've experienced. I know that,
dude. The first big hits that was comic book based, that like the big hits, other than the Superman, Batman, was Judge Dredd and Tank Girl. It's technically why we got. That's what I mean. It's why we got the second like big, outburst of.
Hollywood is finicky. Hollywood is like Hollywood's main thing is this. This is how you understand Hollywood. It's about money. That's it. That's all I got to tell you. They go, well, if this makes us money, then we'll do more of it. If it doesn't make us money, we won't do it. And so if comic book movies don't make money, they just stop. They'll just be like, well.
And before the MCU, Dark Horse was the biggest comic book company with the most movies out there.
Barbed Wire. Who remembers
Barbed Wire?
Barbed Wire, yeah,
Virus,
that's another one.
Virus was pretty goddamn good. Like if you
Oh,
haven't
what was
seen
the
it, go
other
check
one?
it out.
What was the one that tanked so bad? I couldn't even get through it. Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet.
You never seen Ultraviolet? Was one done by a bunch of
Dude,
supposed comic book
not,
guys.
It's not a comic book. It's a guy that stole that stole some script.
I remember like they were saying that it was supposed guys who were they were like, we want to do an actual comic book movie, and they did something. They did something. I couldn't even get through it, man. I was like, what? I was like, what the? I was like, okay, click. And I'm one of those people where I'll sit through. I've seen some stuff, man. I've seen some movies, and I'll sit through it, and I'll always be able to find something about it. I'll be like, well, you know, I understand. I couldn't make it. I struggled.
Ultraviolet was just interesting
like,
for eye candy, like visual candy,
like,
because of what they tried to do, like the anti-grav bike was pretty cool.
Oh, so painful.
But they didn't know what they were doing. That's what happens when you steal scripts from students.
Well, there you go.
Soul says he'd rather watch the 89 movie again than give them any of his cash.
89. Oh, the Batman movie.
Batman.
Oh, I remember.
I'm not talking about the Tom McFarlane toys, and I'm sorry, Tom McFarlane toys are pretty goddamn sweet. Yeah.
Oh, I remember having a lot of McFarlane toys. Oh yeah. I thought he was a genius. I thought McFarlane was a genius when he first did Spawn, and then he did Todd Toys. I'm going back. That's when that was the original name, Todd Toys, and then he switched to McFarlane. I was like, I always felt that McFarlane wasn't a strong artist. Just my personal opinion.
Oh man, I love his Spider-Man.
But if you look at his artwork when he first came, there was a point, and I think even he was that he just was drawing, but he was inking like it was weird. Like he wasn't really drawing, but it was just laying down stuff. Like there would be like a layout, and then he'd just be like, okay, I'm gonna go straight to ink. Yep. So I thought, to me, McFarlane was a businessman. He was more into the whole business aspect of it. So when he passed that torch over to Greg Capullo, is that how you say Greg's last name?
Greg Capullo.
Capullo, okay. Greg Capullo. I thought that was genius because he was like, we're going to maintain Spawn, but we're going to get strong artists that can really bring some stuff to it and whatever. And he still did stuff, but he I think his heart was really as business. He was just like, I'm going to do business. And I think that was a good move for him. It was a smart move. And look at it now. It worked for him. I always felt like Todd McFarlane, out of all the Image guys, he went through some stuff. Like I don't agree with some of the decisions he made when it came to when he was hiring people, especially that whole Neil Gaiman nonsense and whatever.
Image did some stupid shit.
They did some stupid things, man. But overall, he survived.
With all the shit they talk about how Marvel and DC were abusing their artists.
Yeah,
they took advantage. A lot of them, took a lot of advantage.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that works?
Because one of the first thing I kept saying is I was one of them.
Yeah,
you get fucked over by getting your shit stolen because
you should know better. You
send your shit, and then you should know better because you're young. You don't know. So the thing is, every time you send something that's submitted, and that's also for video game because I learned that with Eidos Montreal, and Ubisoft, is everything you send. So you're trying to impress them with your design. Well, you send them to them. It's them. It's theirs. They can do whatever they fucking want with it.
Did you ever listen to the transcripts of the Neil Gaiman thing where it was really interesting? Where what blew my mind was the fact that Neil Gaiman signed a deal, even though his publicist. His publicist was like, well, let me see the contract. Let me just do the contract. And he was like, no. I just talked to Todd McFarlane, and we're just going to do it. Like, it was like, I was like, dude, you have a publicist. They were going to write a contract out. You know better. And he didn't do it. He took the money. Like, Todd McFarlane sent him some money, and he took the money. And then they did Angela, what's her name? Angela?
Yep.
That character. And I'm like, why did you... that's why I talk about where the adult moment, like you gotta have a mature moment, in your mind where you go,
Tom McFarlane, it's also on Tom McFarlane's end. It's one of the things that when you there's always two sides to a medal, and everybody on each side thinks the other one's the victim, and they got fucked over. And when you actually take time to look into it, they're both at fault. Like,
well, I totally agree.
Neil Gaiman knew that if he was leaving a little loophole like that, he could have
No, I totally agree. I totally agree.
They all come from the how do you call work for hire.
Well, they came.
So they all came out of the work for hire, so he knew exactly what he was doing.
But they did oral agreements.
That's the thing. Tom McFarlane should have made the fucking work for hire thing, meaning you create a character, it belongs to me, and if you create a character within my universe, it belongs to me.
Yeah.
And you will get
oral
royalties.
agreements aren't great.
You'll get royalties if there's something like a movie or something outside of the comic that comes with it. You know, that's what a royalty is all about. So it's one of the things I was telling indie comic creators when they were coming in, and they were all like giving away like rights or IP or something. And I'm like, dude, your IP is not worth nothing. So don't think that by offering 50% is going to convince an artist to jump on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And also understand this too. Yeah. Sorry.
You don't have to give away rights to your IP. Give royalties.
Yeah. You can break it up. That's true.
Royalties it's something different. Like if the guy helped create the thing, he owns the character. If he's just coming to work on it, come to work on it, and you pay him for it, well, that's a different story.
Well, it's just like movies. When I hear people talking and they go, well, you know, if my comic book ever got optioned, I'm gonna go right up in there and I'm gonna tell them how to do it. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way, man. Because I work for a production company, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if they're paying you money to license an option your character, you'll be even lucky if they'll even film it. In most cases, you're dealing with a committee. It immediately turns into a committee. And what they're going to do, because, again, you don't have a strong name because you don't have a big name or whatever. And even the big name people get kind of burned sometimes, too. I mean, look at Stephen King. Stephen King's put out how many various movies, and some of them have been some hits. And a lot of them have been some misses. Yeah. So the thing about it, you got to understand is that as soon as you say, okay, I'm going to take X amount of dollars, then your best bet, I would tell anybody, if you do that, take that X amount of dollars, then you take that money, you work on your project, work on your books, use that time when they say they option it, whoever the studio is or whatever, use that as your promotion. So you get more people to buy your book. That's what I would do. That's a smart move. So now you got a little bit of bank, you got a little bit of money, then be like, okay, I'm gonna work on, because honestly, when they talk about doing a film option in it or animation or whatever, they may never even do it. They may never even put it out. Or they're gonna
one of my favorite IPs been stuck in that hell because of Disney and Bruckheimer.
Which one?
Alien Legions.
Oh, Alien Legion, really?
I'm a fucking huge fan of Alien Legion.
Wow, Alien Legion. I didn't know that.
Disney bought the rights to do the movie with Bruckheimer, and they invested like $6 million or something like that in development and stuff like that, but it got shelved. Yeah. So Carl Potts has been trying to sell the fucking idea for somebody else to make movies, but the problem is Disney owns the fucking thing.
Yep.
And they want their $6 million back.
Yeah.
Before they let them go.
That's a nice chunk of change, man.
So that's why we never got that fucking movie, and I'm sorry. Yeah. That would have kicked fucking major ass, because there's some stuff in Alien. Dude, Star Wars took shit from fucking Alien Legion.
Yeah, but the creators got paid, right? They made some money. That's the thing. Like, I remember I was watching this thing about Ben Dunn, and he talked about Warrior Nunna Ariella, and it was like a documentary or something. And he was talking about how, like, when Netflix did the Warrior Nun series, he had nothing. He sold that. He sold all that, man. He said he needed money. I understand. He needed money for some stuff going on in his life, and so he took the money. He ended up selling the whole thing off, man.
So, dude, like one of my biggest lessons was after college. Before college was with Eidos Montreal.
All right.
They were just opening, and it was people from Ubisoft that left, right? So they're like, we're opening Ubisoft Montreal, and we're going to be rebranding, relaunching Deus Ex. And I'm like, holy fuck. Wow. So I was one of the first one there, sending shit, right? And I'm like, I want the fuck in. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the original game. I want in. Sure. And I had designs and stuff like that. They look at my shit and go, oh, it's really good, but do you do any digital art? Can you use Photoshop and shit like that? I'm like, no, I'm fully traditional.
You're traditional,
yes. Yeah, I was fully traditional back in 2007.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, fair enough. Go learn some digital, learn some Photoshop, and come back to us, right?
Unfortunate.
So I'm like, okay, fine. So I go back. I go back to college, dude. I went to study 3D animation and digital designs, right, in college. And I go back there as a visit, and we're like, oh yeah, this is where I'm gonna be. And we walk into the office of Deus Ex, and then I see all my fucking drawings everywhere. I'm like,
oh wow.
And with the metal arm design, I'm like,
oh
dude,
man.
that's my fucking shit. And I'm like, I'm here. That's when they go, yeah, but you submitted it and we own it. And I'm like,
oh, that's unfortunate, man.
That was a harsh lesson.
Isn't that the story though of all of us of creatives? You got to have a great. I remember I had an old schooler tell me that.
But the thing is, every
creative out there has a story.
Creatives, you have to know one thing. There's there's always non-creative people waiting to fucking steal your shit and trying to get it out before you. It's always been a thing. We all as creators, we're a bit idealistic usually on a type of approach, but you have to be honest about this. Look. Hey, we're making a movie called Twister about a tornado. Then you have 5 other fucking movies coming out before that movie comes out that are straight to DVD shit. That's what they do. One of the things another lesson learned is you go in. I'm in university. Was it college? No, it was college back then. You're in college and you're doing script writing. Your teacher has been a script author, writes for fucking movies, works for Zimmerman and stuff like that. Wink, wink. When you were talking about a movie. Before Ultraviolet, remember?
Yep.
Okay, so I had a script called Eve, and it's pretty similar. Anyways, the guy was like the guy's the script doctor, worked for Hollywood, worked for fucking series and shit like that, and all of us were like, yeah, we're trying to impress our teacher, trying to go, yeah, we're writing scripts, and then you find out that he got fired because he sold script from students.
Wow.
And the principal of the college was a copyright lawyer.
Oh, that's unfortunate, man. I had an ex-roommate.
But that's what they do. It's anything. People think that, oh, people are gonna respect my idea. No, somebody's gonna hear it and go, I can make it happen before he does.
Yeah. I had an ex-roommate, unfortunately, who was an animator, and he loved Disney. Like this guy was amazing 2D, like old school Disney style. Mm-hmm. And this guy dreamt, that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to go out to California, go out to Cali, and work for Disney. He wanted to do Disney animation. And it was unfortunate because I was with him. I was like, brother, just go out there, handle your business, and just stay in touch. So he went out there and he learned the hard truth that unfortunately, even though you're good, then it's like they're dealing with Cal Art. Like he was like, that names, people dropping names and things like that. That's the stuff that you're going to be going up against. So as talented as he was, it didn't mean anything. He wasn't in the circles. He wasn't in those circles or whatever where he could get the gigs. And I felt for him, man. Tried to help him out a little bit and stuff.
That's how it is here in Quebec. If you're not part of the crew, you're not getting any work. You're not getting nothing. Yeah.
That's why get your hustle up, Pope people. Get your hustle up.
The other lesson, like I was saying, like and we all have multiple stories, but there's always a few that really, really marked us and taught us a fucking lesson. One for me was the Eidos, right? Yeah. It was the university one the university one. It was the college one with the James Gunn thing, and then there's the image one was. Do I need to tell you that my submission had to do with some dwarf that was a mix of a bit like Indiana Jones? Does that ring a bell?
Ooh.
Does that ring a bell? Like I submitted a troll that was like a bit of Indiana Jones, and if you think about it, it was a troll. If you remember Troll at the Extreme Comics.
Now, are you doing comic books now? Are you doing?
Yeah, of course I am.
Nice. There you go. This is our time, man. I'm saying like that. We were saying earlier. I was saying this is the time right now for creators. Like I told somebody, I was on a show the other night, and I said, look, I've never been a person that worried about the Joneses. That's my strength, is that I don't get caught up with the Joneses. I say you need to worry about your own house, get your house in order, get your stuff out there. If you want people,
build your audience.
your audience. The thing about it is that you can talk the game all you want.
And don't try to please the audience. And don't try to please the audience to create something for them. Create your shit. Like
one of my mentors, very wealthy guy. I never forget when he sat there and he said, Frank, he said, and he's a wealthy guy. And I remember he brought me in his office. He's looking at the stock market. And he's like, look at that, Frank. I just lost 30 grand. And he just laughed. And I remember I'm in my 20s looking at that. And he said, Frank, you know something? He said, if anything you can get from me, he said, notice, the doers do and the don'ts don't. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. And he said, yeah. He said, the doers don't. The doers do and the don'ts don't. And he said, that's all you need to know. He said, the people that do will get it done. And the people don't just won't. And he said, what do you want to be? Now you have to ask yourself the question, who are you going to be? Mm-hmm. Are you going to be the doer or are you going to be the don't? And I'm like, if I'm going to talk about a comic book, then I'm going to do my comic book. I'm not going to just, it's going to be some fantasy thing that I'm just going to be sitting here and telling tall tales about. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get it done. It gets done. You get it out there to people. Let people then decide whether or not they want to go along for the ride. Since you mentioned it, my book's Tales on an Adverse 2 right now. It's on Indiegogo. And the first 200 physical book backers, they get a free sketch card. So it's kind of like me giving you free shipping. I'd love to break the 5K on the Second Chance campaign because that would make the entire overall from the first campaign, second campaign, 13K. And by that would mean we beat Blood Hunt. Now I'm curious. Have you been drawing sketch cards for long? Did you used to draw sketch cards?
I know. I started doing sketch cards with the campaigns, like with Blood Hunt. That was the first time I started doing sketch cards.
That's all. I mean, I love it because I started sketch cards back in 2009. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anything about them. I had like a Facebook account.
I know. I had people. I had some companies that were like, "Oh, we represent Marvel and DC. We'll pay you $5 for sketch cards." I'm like,
"Yeah,
$5?
That's crap." Yeah.
I'm like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. Unless you're like a really well-known artist. If you're a really popular artist, I know artists that have made $2,000 off a sketch card.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what the level. You can make a lot of money.
$5.
No, not for that. But if you got a fandom and collectors really like your work, then yeah, you can make $2,000. You can make. I've seen it. $2,000 for like amazing art, like Star Wars card. You have
I was actually considering the possibility of putting it on my website so that people can go and order like a sketch card, and then they just leave the character they want. So you go in like instead of putting 25 plus shipping, just 35 shipping.
Yeah, I'm doing sketch cards on my
character, and I'll send it to you. Because it's something a lot of that I've been told that a lot of people like because 11 by 17 art is not easy to store or collect.
Exactly.
Right? And not everybody has a freaking book place. It's one of the things that people were bringing up, and I'm like, makes sense. It's easier to collect. It's easier to keep different pieces of art. And I'm like, well, fair enough.
Thank you so much, Comic Book Black Belt. Right on.
Russ,
by the way, I do have sketch card commissions. And I don't know if I know that the sketch covers got picked up a lot. I think there was like 2 left over. But we have sketch cover variants on there that I'll do, or you can pick up for yourself. But also sketch cards. I love doing sketch cards.
My point is, come on, people, go back my book, go back this book, but my book.
Yes,
let's get us over 5K for my birthday. That would be like the greatest fucking gift.
Nice.
And if we do that, I'm gonna give something else extra away.
Oh snap!
Back my book, back this book. Forget about Shane.
I know Shane. You got a book, right? Shane,
I'm still on the sign up.
Okay,
we'll get to mine about another 2 months.
There you go. You taking your time. How long you been working on it?
About a year.
See, there you go. Boom.
Yeah, it's going to be completely finished before I launch. So.
And talking about sketch cards.
Fantastic. I love seeing sketch cards in the market. There you go.
Oh, that was from
You have the white leopard. Yeah.
There you go. Nice.
White leopard.
Nice.
Is that on his campaign right now?
I don't know if you put it on. I didn't see it when you launched. Those are the free ones that are coming with the books. I got a few done, and these are the Lost Pages one.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, I'm having trouble with the reverse everything.
Did those go already? The Lost Pages one? Did they move?
Oh yeah, they went in like 5 minutes.
Hold on a second.
I didn't think they were on there anymore.
Yeah, they sold out in like within 5 minutes.
It's gonna be a hot book. That's for sure.
People love sim sketch cards.
Yeah, so go back my book. You get one for free.
Let's see. So it says, Sim, make me a sketch card of Wimpsent from Blood Hunt praying to the Pope so I can torture Dunkelziffer. I'll pay handsomely. Just kidding.
I'm just glad we're finally getting Blood Hunt too.
Yeah,
I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, I don't know if he's going to do that or not. But
yeah, you saw my little tease.
Yeah,
so,
with you and Doc, right?
So there's gonna be but there's not just that. Where I'm doing Blood Hunt 2 and I'm doing Blood Hunt versus Doc Salem.
Oh, it's 2 different books. I didn't know there's 2 different.
Two different books. Yeah.
Oh,
Blood Hunt 2 is coming, and we're doing this, and the Blood Hunt Doc Salem is gonna be laid out by me, finished art by Preston. So we're doing a mixed art. It's gonna be cool.
So there you go. Here's a sketch card from Kajus and Cowboys.
Oh, let me full screen now.
There you go. Kajus and Cowboys. I just packaged up my cards that I did for alternative samples, but this is a sample that I can show you of what I'm doing, the level that I'll do. So you want Godzilla in there? As I always tell people who know me, I always say if you're gonna draw a Kaju, you gotta have a helicopter in there.
Just a sketch card.
That's the level. That's the level of what I do. So if you go on the campaign and you end up getting a commission, there you go. Black and white. This is a black and white.
Really good, yeah.
A little bit.
And on these cards right here, if you want our characters, we put our characters in there, or your own characters or whatever. You want something that as long as I can get a reference of what your character is, I'll do it. So there you go. This is official cards.
Yeah, that's something to check out, everybody.
There you go.
Get in on that, because Frankie's putting. There you go. He's not just doing some little doodle. He's working on that.
No doodles.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say too much, but I've been working on something, and I'm launching myself into toys as well. So, you're gonna see a new model very soon.
Mouth.
I'm trying to come up with a little concept of a paintable as snappable together type of action figure.
Isn't it kind of weird? Do you guys feel that weird feeling? Like I'm looking at this and it's almost surreal to me. Like I'm looking at the campaign and it doesn't. It's like I'm feeling like I'm outside my own body, kind of like God,
out of body experience.
Stuff. Well, I don't know if you guys are the same way, but it's like I don't tend to read. Like I got my books here, but I don't reread this stuff because I'm so part of it already. I kind of just do it. I mean, I keep it more for reference just to make sure that I'm not reduplicating myself in style with something or drawing a layout. But yeah, it's very surreal to me. Like I'm seeing it going, oh, that's somebody else's campaign. That's not my campaign. It is. It's a weird feeling, man. Not a bad feeling. It's just one of those weird kind of things.
Once it's cooking and you realize you're the cook, you're like, hey, there it is.
I get it. It's like especially when you've been in this for a while.
Yeah, this is the joy.
I've tried campaigns before, it didn't work, like on Kickstarter, and then when you're starting doing it, and that's just that is. How much did you look back at your old stuff for like a few years back and you go,
oh yeah,
fuck, I was.
It's about the journey. I'll tell anybody, I'll tell anybody out there. I don't know what perfection is. Every time I see some artists out there and they're like, I'm trying to do the perfect thing. No, I don't know what perfection is. I know journey. I know the journey. I know what journey means. I know that the style that you're seeing here may be a lot different than say a year or two now. But there's going to be something that's going to change or tweak. Just because I'm working on other different stuff.
Perfectionism is the worst enemy of any creative.
Oh yeah.
The thing you get into it, it's one of the things that they teach you in art school or anything else is you need to break it.
Yep.
It's why they say the finish not perfect. So that's why like for a year or two, like before, like every year I would do like a full month. Like I would, depending on the month, right? Like I did the Halloween, so it would be like all horror theme. And I would get up and every day I would do like a 15 to 30 minute sketch.
Nice.
No matter if it looked good or not, I didn't give a shit and I would have to share it. Even if I was fucking ashamed of it when it looked like shit. And I'm like, okay, I did it in 15, 20, 30 minutes. That's it. That's all. Speed drawing out. And
well, you got to love to draw. Yeah. You have to have a passion for it. And that's the other key.
But that's practicing the finish not perfect because it's like you're putting something out there because it's finished, but it's not happy. It's like when you're working on a logo, you're doing it for a client. You may not like the end result.
Yeah.
Where you need to be proud of what you fucking did. So technically you're not proud of the piece, but you're proud that your client left happy.
I can look back at the stuff that I did and I was like, I gave 200% of my, I know that I gave to it. Like that was my worst feeling. Like when I had talks with Matthew, I said, Matthew, I don't want to put a comic, I don't want to put a book out. And I look at that book and I go, I only gave 50%. I'm asking somebody to buy a book that I only gave 50% of. I don't want to have that feeling. That's a horrible feeling. Could you imagine that you sit there and people, even somebody, some people look at it and they're just like, hey man, I think this is cool. You'd be like, that's only 50% of me. I said I never want to feel that. And I'm not going to feel that. Yeah.
It's like in a little spot that I'm at right now. It's like we got delayed for the book and I had to close the first campaign and do a second chance campaign. Wow. I'm not going to get into details, but the thing is, then you have the color artist. That's the one for one in the story that's taking a bit longer. And then you're like, there's other factors that go in that you're like, how can I say that can go unplanned?
Well, that's it. That's that other area. That's the unplanned events. Yeah. And it sucks too after you've already done a promotional campaign and you're out there talking about it and everything's all good.
Maybe that's why I closed it, because the thing is I didn't feel right to keep going promoting because the thing is I'm not gonna get into detail. Like I said, all the family started getting sick. We started finding out there was a problem with the house. We had to go to court. We had to fight in court for like almost a year. We had to get ourselves out. So you can understand how that delayed me and stopped me from working.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then I come back in, and then you go in and I work like a motherfucker to catch up. And then the colorist is like, well, I'm behind. And you're like, oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Dude, I was sleeping like 2 hours a night, like working my ass off. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I'm fucking done. And you're like, well, I'm going to be a few months late. And I'm like,
oh, man. Well, that's the important thing, too. Like, I always say, like, I don't understand that level of, like, people who don't respect deadlines.
But
there has to be a level of respect for them.
There is. But the thing is, we're in indie, right? So most of the people you get, they also have a day job. Not everybody's like me, where I took the risk. I took the plunge. I'm trying to make this as a full-time self-employed thing. Most of them have jobs, and sometimes things happen, especially when you're in charge of a full team. That's the thing that happened. And then
it's important to this, as long as like the people know, like the customers, the consumers, as long as they see the project moving forward, you don't just disappear for a long time.
Well, communication is the key thing.
Yeah, don't ignore. Even if it's a problem, at least you can explain it. Even if it's something you like, people are like, what? But as long as you can.
It's not so hard to do updates once a month, at least. Like, I mean, that's one of the things I've never run into issues of. Is I do updates once a month.
Yeah, I say
but for some it is moving forward. But unfortunately, for some it is. That's the thing where it's like letting people know. And I go back to it. We have all this great technology here for communicating. Yet a lot of folks aren't using.
I got a few campaigns that I've backed that I'm still waiting just for the person to give an update. Like, are you alive? Did you? Did you like?
Raise your hand.
You in an accident or something? Like, what happened?
Let's just be frank. It's like not only the color, but it's also the fact that the book went from 80 pages to 116. We unlock an extra story. Yeah. It's not just that. I was just using it as an example that. Sometimes things can happen when you think you got everything planned.
Now, but
everything's going to work according to plan.
I'm curious. I'm curious, Sim. Do you think that then it's like just saying hypothetically now, going off what you were saying, like again, someone says, okay, something's come up and now it's going to take a little longer to get this thing. Now, let's take that out of the comic books, out of books, and just look in the real world. But would you be okay if you went into a store, and then somebody said, hey, man, it's going to take us a little bit longer to do something. I mean, not even a little bit longer.
I grew up with that. I'm a big fan of Image Comics. Like, I didn't care if it came out every 2 to 3 months.
But not with a comic. I'm saying, like, if I went for my car, like I used the analogy earlier, and I said I go to my mechanic. Why do I go to my mechanic? My mechanic gets my vehicle done at a reasonable time, and a reasonable time, and it gets done. Now, would I go back to that mechanic if that mechanic was, say, 3 weeks late or a month? No, There's definitely I'm not that forgiving. I don't know if that's
the creator comes out with another product. Yeah. It's like, I'll wait this time. Yeah. I'll wait a longer time.
Am I a consumer? Like we're in the business of I'm a consumer. It's not my fault that I should be waiting for something that I'm like I put some money down on. I mean, I don't think I'm wrong.
A balancing act. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, when I back campaigns, I kind of forget about that money, hoping I get a book back. Like, this is not a store. That's my way of seeing it. But my point was this: It's the fact that you get delayed. But do I go fuck off, hurry up and butch the freaking colors to do it faster, or do I just want to have the quality of the book? That's where I was going to before when you're talking about.
Well,
quality.
I think that I think
it's better to delay and for make sure that you get the quality control. Then
I think the reality check on all that comes from whether or not those people that contributed in the beginning for the project, are they coming back? Do you still have the same number, or will they? Because that's the reality check. I mean, we can say all day, we can stand here back and talk whatever, but there's people buying these products, and the reality is that are they going to be the ones? Because I can sit here and I can say
usually the way I see it is usually people that come in. They come in to freaking to freaking invest in you creating your thing and setting up your own company. It's a Kickstarter. Think about it. That's why Kickstarter is called Kickstarter. It's a kickstart a company, right? So the idea is everybody expect to have some delays in the beginning that you're starting to find your footing and stuff like that, right?
I guess as a creator, I see where Frankie's coming from. From the creative side, you want to make sure.
Oh, that's the thing. I'm talking about the backer side right now.
Yeah,
creative side. I'm pissed. I hate the fact that I
want to make
sure
you're staying ahead, because when every delay you have gives an opportunity for somebody else to come and take your audience.
Yeah, because the thing about comic books has always been about volume. When I grew up, I remember comic books coming out monthly. A lot of comic books. It was just like volume of comic books.
Yeah, but you also ended up with a lot of fucking fillers that you didn't read. So how many books in that year that you would buy out of?
Well, comic books were cheaper. They were like 25 cents.
They were cheaper. Yeah, but that's why I stopped collecting after like they were $3 a pop.
Yeah.
Then they would have 25 titles, 55 titles, and then they're like, dude, I'm done. Like there's no way I have.
One thing that I've been watching is I'm really curious to see how crowdfunding books are going to be from this point on, like because it's reached its apex, but I'm curious to see how long. I think that a lot.
I remember before in the Kickstarter, everybody was trying to coach everybody to do 25-page comic and do it for like $3 digital and something like that. And now we started at 48, 60 pages. Now people are expecting to have more of this, just a floppy. The floppy market is dying.
Well, I don't see. Again, I think that isn't it like more of a choice? Because again, I hear people say all kind of things. I think there's room for graphic novels, and I think there's room for floppies. I think too many people are reading too much into certain things, and I'm like, people will read what you put out there. It comes down really to quality. We'll cut through everything. It comes down to quality. If your quality is not up to the standards of what other people are doing that other people want, then I can't. Like, to me, if somebody looked at that and they said, "Oh, Kind of Cowboys, it doesn't look too good" or whatever, then I can't sit there and get angry at them. I just got to accept it. I got to be like, okay, it's not up to the standards or whatever, and then I try to figure out maybe I got to work on certain things to make it up to the standard or whatever. But I can't say like, well, because it's a floppy, that's why it didn't do good. People like what they like. People like what they like. It's just like that whole argument with like manga. Like I hear people say that and I go, dude, the reason why people like manga is that manga never changed their formula. The Western comic books changed their formula. We changed the formula here in the West. We should have maintained our formula for what we were doing. Cheap comics, cheap entertainment, and maintain the children who were the continuous. Like I grew up on comic books. And then as I grew up, I was like, I'm going to continue buying comic books and stuff like that. But once they started changing that and started making the speculative market and stuff like that, you destroyed. You opened a hole up. See. All those young kids couldn't buy those expensive books. But guess what they started buying then? They started getting games. And then they started getting manga.
The thing is, you're so not acknowledging one thing. When I say the flop,
I love manga too. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I grew up on manga and anime. I love that, dude. I got a son. I got One Punch Man right here looking at me.
Yeah, but the manga would not be where it is right now if it didn't do the technically almost free digital. They have access to digital copies. All their books
I'm not denying that either. I think that all that stuff factors in there.
Mm-hmm. And the fact
I think it all factors.
Mm-hmm. The floppy factor is still a thing. It's a thing. Like the comic book stores are closing because they're not selling floppies. They're getting stuck with them. And I'm not saying that I think that
I think comic book stores are failing just because the system is just. We have a new kind of generation where comic book stores just don't have that same kind of thing like they had before for us.
It's the arcade thing all over again.
Yeah, it's just like the arcade. Exactly. We had a conversation earlier where I talked about why I loved games. For me, games represented arcades. But arcades don't exist. Games now, and I understand that. I go, well, yeah, kids. I know why they like games because they're in their home. They're able to communicate with people across, whatever. You can talk to somebody in Japan and work, that kind of thing. I understand that. So comic book stores are the same way. This is the natural progression. I just think it's just a natural progression that's happening. Now the question is, how do we? What's going to be the new thing? The new thing now is the online distribution, and digital. I think digital is great. I think it's just another avenue for making money.
The thing is, I keep saying it. People need to make there's no value to any story if it's not available or read by multiple people. So,
amen to that.
When I came in here, people used to say, used to talk about against the digital comics, and I hate digital comics. But the thing is, you would be a fucking idiot ignoring business.
Yeah,
business says that digital comics, it's at least 30 to 40% people will read the digital copy.
Right on.
If you had a campaign, a lot of people will buy the fucking book and buy a digital copy extra. So it's like you have to have the digital. You have to try and have a website when people can read your comic book. That's why I tried that global comics thing. You need it because otherwise there's no value. Your IP is worth nothing if there's no demand. Your number one is worth nothing if nobody knows.
Let me ask you real quick about that. How is Global Comics?
The comic book boxes are full of it.
Hey Sim, how is Global Comics?
I don't know. I tried it out. I put Bloodhunter. I haven't gone back really to check it out.
Okay. All right. I'm fascinated because I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it, and I'm really interested in it.
Yeah, but I tried it out. I went to put a comic. I had a lot of readers in the first beginning, but
Sure.
Yeah.
So says Sim. Also, if you forgot to feed one of your color slaves,
man, what's up with that? What's up with that?
And then Scotsman brings up the other point where before they used to have a full on team of layout artists, finishing artists, inker, background inkers, color guy, colorist. You cannot even compare the two situations. That's the thing. You can't say it's like saying, hey,
you can't, but you still see from a consumer side though. Like you can come up with excuses all day long. I mean, it's not really an excuse. We understand the process. Before I got into this, when somebody said,
"Yeah, but guys,
hey, it's going to take a year,"
it's like saying,
let me finish my thought.
Yeah, but you're not letting me finish. You're talking over the one I was trying to make. So go ahead, make yours.
No, I was just saying, like when I first came into this, before when I was a consumer. When somebody's saying, hey, it's going to take a year for this guy to put out a comic, when you're not used to this, you're like, a year for a comic? Like, how long?
Yeah.
As a consumer that's not used
to
this. That's what I'm saying. So you got to be careful how many delays and stuff you have and all the excuses.
I just say the proof's in the pudding, man. What'll happen is those people that tend to do that kind of length of stuff, they'll just see in their numbers. That'll be the reality because you can't escape the reality of
the only thing I'll say is that I can prove to you that there's many artists that are making way more money than any one of us on campaigns and are late.
Well, yeah, that's social media.
No. But the thing is, people you have to be careful. It's like everybody has their game, bring their game, right? So I'm gonna come in and say, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give a free sketch card. Some people are gonna say my book's gonna be done in advance. Everybody has their gimmick to promote, right? But just be careful about the shit talking because a lot of people talk shit and then they're really late or something happens.
Yeah, exactly.
That goes right back to what I said earlier about Joneses. Worry about what's going on in your own house.
There's not just one business. There's not just one way of doing things.
Yeah,
there's not just one way of doing things. I never talk down like I personally don't like collecting floppies anymore. But I think floppies are important to certain business. It's like I don't think they should go down. My point is this: a lot of things happen in crowdfunding. It's not a store, so the idea that you can come in and have a book done and fully done in advance, that's enough for you. That's that's something good for you. But for some people in Kickstarter or crowdfunding, they'll go, "Well, your book's done. What's the point?" You never have like you keep saying like. People talk about, the consumer. The consumer wants different things. There's not just one type of consumer.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So there's people that
no one's not saying that.
Right now,
Who's saying it the different? I think that what's going on is that again, I just said this, and hopefully this is the end result is that the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
If we can sit here and debate this for age of time, but it comes down to the consumers, and the consumers are the ones who define this whole thing, because they'll buy your stuff or they won't buy it. That's it. That's the end result, and we have no control over that. I have no control over it. You don't have any control over it. No one has control over it. That's what makes this so. This is like the Wild West right now, and it's amazing.
There's no one way of doing business. Yeah. But the thing is, be careful not to criticize.
No one's talking about one way, though. Well, I'm sorry. Did somebody say that there was a one way? I don't think anyone said it was a one way of business.
No. I'm talking about the models of, like, having the book done in advance, being delayed or stuff like that.
That's up to the creators.
That's my point.
That was my
what I
thing.
don't like. The point I'm trying to illustrate when I'm saying, like, be careful to not go, because there's a lot of people going on stream right now going, the only way of doing things is like this. It's this. That's what I mean by that. Like, I'm not talking about you. I'm also talking to the.
I say the proof's in the pudding. If people don't like something,
then
they just
do
won't
the
buy
best
it.
you can, and be. My thing is,
if that is your business model,
be transparent,
then follow it.
Give it all you got, and usually, even if you can be late, you'll be on time. If you give it all you got and you're straightforward and you connect with your fans, there's no problem. The thing is, like me, like,
I like
I'm
what
saying this because, dude,
said. Yeah,
when I got delayed, dude, I was stressed the fuck out because, dude, there's nothing worse for me than being late on something. I hate the fuck out of it.
No, I agree with Scott. Was it Scotsman TV? I agree with that.
Invested in your personal ventures in crowdfunding.
Yeah, you need that.
Yep, that's my point. That's my point. It's like we need people to come in with books that are fully done, but we also need the people that come in with 5 pages and go, "Hey, want to see this be made?" That's my point. It's like it's like you can talk up your point, but people do. It's just not you guys. I'm talking in general.
Got you. Yeah, no worries.
That's my point.
That's my point. No, we got love up here, man.
I'm trying to talk in general for the people in the chat because of what I'm seeing. Is don't go after people because shit happens, and sometimes what you need to keep in mind is the intention is to give you the best entertainment that you can actually have. Yeah. Like having Shane, like him being able to get his book pretty much all done before he launches. That's a plus for him.
Yeah,
but it's for other people that will come in. It'll be like you'll have the opposite effect. Well, you know what I mean? Like it's a two-way street, and we need to have as much as like diversity. Like what I like, it's the diverse freaking type of comics. It's also what happens, and when people take things to heart, like dude, Blood Hunt, like dude, I redrew that thing twice before I released that goddamn book. Because I just wanted it to be like so freaking good, you know what I mean? But then if you get like this, you get into the rush of trying to rush the book out so you get on time.
But you don't want
and then you're gonna lack quality. That's my point. Yeah. It's like if you're trying to put too much weight on your shoulder to get the book done, if you can't do it, if you have money to just throw around, but if it's gonna be a stress factor where you're gonna indebt yourself for $25,000,
exactly,
and it's gonna it could. I'd rather have quality and it takes a year for a book to come out than you telling me that you can get it done in 4 months and it looks like, you know what I mean? It's side. Yeah.
I wish that what we just had.
And I'm talking from a fan side. I'm talking about a fan side. Yeah.
But I'm saying like what you just said right here is like, this is what we need more of. Like conversations like this, like the way everyone is. I feel like we're all saying the same thing. Yeah. That's what we're saying. We're basically saying the same thing because it comes down to just business. And everyone, like, I love the sense when I grew up, there's a diverse amount of various books. I love underground comics. I love outlaw comics. I love mainstream comics. And I love them all, man. Comics, books. I read novels. I love all that stuff. So there has to be room for all of that.
I mean, and you learn along the way. Like one of the things I'm learning is I think I'm gonna stop adding more stories and pages to my book as unlockables because but it's the thing that a lot of people like. Yeah, like a lot of people like the fact that I added an extra 20-something page to the book because we unlock a story, right? But the thing it played and being delayed, especially when I got delayed with my moving and stuff like that, right? And I'm like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I need to get that book done, and I'm like, okay, maybe next campaign I'm just gonna be a bit more like not adding too much stuff to it, Like as in work-wise, because I'm like I'm thinking we're making the book bigger, making more worth. So instead of having a 60-page, you have 116 now, right? For $25. But the thing is, it got delayed. So I'm like, do I want to keep doing that now? Like having an unlockable story now and the thing just to hype people from back into unlocking something. I don't think I'll be doing that anymore. I think I'm gonna give myself my cap and something that I, smaller than a 25-page extra unlockable story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And see, my thoughts is
it's live and learn. You know what I mean?
I look at how many books that the mainstream has put out and stuff, and I go, man, look how many books they get out. At least get this story out. Because then it's implanted out there, and I go, I want to have that. I want to get stories out to people.
Did you see? I did all the other ones, and if you're not DC or Marvel, they all reduce their printing. They all reduce the amount of comics that come out every goddamn month. Yes. Valiant concentrated on once or something. It's weird, but if you want quality, you need to pay for it, and you need to have time to produce it. The thing that people don't know about Marvel and DC is usually that freaking comic book that came out this month was drawn a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, they're ahead of everything, and
I've already told people that eventually they're going to be farming IPs out. That the farming IPs is going to happen. I see it slowly. I'm like, it's going to happen. I don't know when when they're going to finally make that call. But they're eventually going to get to the point. They're just going to be like, we're just going to farm these IPs out to various publishers.
One of the biggest problem right now with businesses is that they get to a point where they always have to grow. So you can't be $1 million company without making more millions, trying to innovate all the time. Like, you can't just fucking make Apple computer without coming out with a new model every goddamn 2 years, right? It's weird. But they're pushed to always put something instead of just keeping going. The thing is, what I call that, then you fall into what we call the McDonald's, what I call the fast food mentality. And that's when Marvel DC fell into, where they stopped paying their artists. They have to go cheaper. And then they have to go faster. So people that used to get maybe $300 a page have trouble getting $100 now or something like that. And that killed the entire industry. Like, look, listen to the old guys, like even Ethan, or other people, they said they used to make at least $200. Then they had to start doing their own inks to keep making that same amount of money.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you're like, and then you have the inkers like Bat and all those fucking legendary fucking inkers. They're like, we can't, they barely offer us $100 to ink a goddamn page. And I'm like, ouch. And that's what you fall when you fall into the gimmick of fast food. And I think manga's falling into it too. It did for a while, where they had so many fucking shitty shit out. Like, you remember, go back maybe 10, 20 years? Like, mangas, there was a lot of shit coming out that was just another copy of Dragon Ball or Yu-Gi. It was just very, very generic. And then they just went, fuck this shit. We're going back to the 90s way and just doing whatever.
Yeah.
So
we're in an interesting time. I feel like it is definitely interesting time, but I see goodness because so much indie stuff is coming up. I think that's the thing. Like, I keep looking at the indie stuff, and again, I agree. Diversity. I think just the styles, the stories, and stuff like that.
Scotsman used to be ink assistant for freaking his name. He used to work for DC Marvel, and so that used to be an ink assist, a background ink assist. He used to work for somebody called Marlowe. Okay, He used to work for Prophet. He inked Prophet, Stephen Splat and stuff like that. But dude, that's the thing, is before they used to make enough money that Art DeBear was the inker. We had 3 fucking ink assists helping him ink that goddamn book. So that's the thing, is people used to make money off of this. Then they stopped making money because they wanted to have what I call the fast food approach to business, and that's what's killing everything. That's what I'm saying. If that was technically my point, is to not fall into the fast food approach to try and sell indie comics, because that's what killed the industry. That's what brought the people from the mainstream to the indie. Get it? Thank you, Alkiza. Thank you, Marlo Alkiza. So you see, that's what I'm trying to say when I say,
yeah, but I don't know.
But give yourself to pressure. If you can,
but
you can have a book fully done.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like everyone works by a different standard, though. So again, I don't know if it's fast. I just think if a person is able to get a comic book out and it still is of high quality, that's just because their team functions at a way that's a lot different than other people.
My point.
That's a different way of functioning.
Let me use another example. It's like Kirby. A lot of people like Neil Adams, when he came in, he thought Kirby was shit.
Yeah.
He didn't understand Kirby. He didn't understand the fact that Kirby could draw, 4 or 5 pages a day?
Yeah.
Okay? Because of his style, because of his approach. He had to learn to appreciate Kirby going, oh, shit, he's doing shit I could not even fucking do. Like, I can't even have that power or that energy or that movement. I can't even fucking do this.
Yeah.
And that's when he learned, that's when he understood, like, well, Kirby, okay, that's why. You know what I mean? It's like there's multiple ways of doing things, right?
Sure.
And it's all about style versus what you can do. And it's like, saying David Finch. David Finch was a big hit, but as soon as he started getting better, we don't hear from him anymore. Why?
Yeah, isn't he working in Hollywood?
Travis Chaudet. He hasn't done comics in 25 years.
These guys are working in Hollywood and gaming.
Yeah, but
that's what they're doing. They're working
because there's no more money to be done in comic books. The same thing with Joe Mad. Joe Mad started his own video game company.
Yep, that's right. Well, I was saying earlier, and I said again, it's the art industry and how big the art industry is. So don't get yourself into a little corner and stuff. Be like, hey, there's other potentials out there. And unfortunately, it's sad to see where comic books are going today, but they're not the only thing out there, the only action. So if you can do toy designs, if you can draw gaming or whatever, then jump on that if you can.
I think
storyboards.
I think my main message to everybody would be this. Please, everybody, just try and do everything. Like, try to do some floppies, try to do maybe some 25 or 48 pages, try to do like some manga approach, try to do the French comic approach. Take a year to fucking do it like like just
be passionate about it.
Yeah,
just be passionate about it. That's the key thing. Don't do it by fluke. Just be like, if you're really into it. I want to see people that are like, you're really into it.
Well, that's what I think we're seeing is some of these projects that are like really delayed. That's what I was getting at, is like, they're not. I don't think they're going to get finished. Some of them. I think the people started them. They realize it's not for them.
Yep.
And I don't think there's some of them. I don't think I'm going to see.
But there's a lot of artists that think that because they can draw or paint or do shit like that, they can do a comic book. I'm sorry, dude. It's like saying
it's a job.
I can jog. I work out on a treadmill, and I'll go do the Iron Man run.
It's a job. People.
I'm gonna do the Iron Man run, and you're like, yeah, you're in no condition to do the Iron Man. Fuck this shit. I'll do it. It's like just drawing, right? Just running. Yeah.
All right, dude. How long have we been? We've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
3 hours, man.
We're gonna have to wrap it up.
We need to start wrapping this thing up.
Right now. But I'm having a blast. This is incredible. I don't even know what I was expecting, man. But I love these kind of debates and talks, man, because this is what you're supposed to have, man. More people should have this. I am exhausted by all the painting broad brushes about things and assuming people are certain.
People don't want to talk about shit anymore. They just want to say their, how can I say, sell their bread. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's just put your stuff out. Yeah. Let your stuff sit before you, and then you'll figure it out that way. But anyway, Codgers and Cowboys, everyone. How many days we got left? 17.
17 days to go.
17 days to go. Can we get up to 60 people? Can we today? 60 at least? Can we?
We got at least one during the
streets. We can.
Yes, we can. Do you like Codgers? Do you like Cowboys? The spiel. Do you like Godzilla? No. I won't even do that.
It's been funded, so you're going to get it.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of knew that's our little honeypot number. We always knew like 2,000 was like we know we'll get there.
Yeah, so everybody needs to go check it out. Everybody on the replays, go give it a look as well.
Definitely. Really appreciate it. You'll be seeing me pop up some artwork I'll be doing for King Cryptid #6 for Alterna Comics. Excited about that. It's the first time like really working with Pete. I've known Pete for I think off and on 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Because it was crazy. Because I was still, my foot was really into the corporate stuff, but I would go to shows and stuff, and I would see Pete, and when Pete would talk and stuff, I loved how Pete was about the business, man. He was just like, yeah, let's try to get this going. And I've literally seen the growth of like Alterna Comics as he's gone over the years and stuff. So I would see him at a show, and we would talk a little bit, and I'd be like, well, I'm too busy right now, dude. I can't really do anything. And so now the chance has come. And I ain't gonna lie, I got some butterflies in my belly. But I'm excited. But it's good to have butterflies. I'll never stop having them, even though I've worked years in the art industry. It's good because those are the things that kind of get you, it builds that strength up inside of you. Then you're going to do the hustle and get the hardness going in there. Publishing Pete.
Yeah, Publishing Pete.
That's right.
All right. So thanks, Frankie, for joining us, though.
Oh, man. Thanks, fellas. Oh, man.
I'm sorry if we kept you too long.
No, I know. I was like, woof. Like, man, the dread's all falling out. Imagine it just like bald at the end of things. Like, what's the show? Nah, this was good. This was fantastic, man. Every one of you have energy, man. Sim, thank you for sharing, dude, your figures. You got me pumped up. I love Grandizer. And I love to see other people that love their super robots and just robots in general. That makes me very happy.
You should probably go check out my book.
Oh, all right. There you go, Frankie B Butterfly. Oh, look at you, Frankie B Butterfly. Yeah, he's still that. Yeah, I like that.
Thanks everybody in the chat for popping on and
thank you very much.
And be sure to join us on Monday for Sim's big birthday. And we're doing a giveaway.
All right.
Yeah, turning 47.
47? I'm turning 53. Jesus, man. How
it goes by fast, right?
It does, man. Jesus.
Liam Sharson replied to one of my posts saying, I'm turning 55 on the second.
Oh my God, I'm disintegrating right before your eyes. Suddenly I just turned to dust. Like
I still look good for 47.
Oh, right on, man. Right on. That's those old jeans, man. We work them.
All right. So be sure to join us on Monday, and we'll see you then. Later,
right on. Everybody. Thanks, everybody. Take care.